All right, kind sir. We're we're back off of Sheffield. So many people got so many questions, and so many people have. I mean, from leading in, you're extremely confident. The
Mhm.
battle. We had that one podcast ask you questions about prep. Your prep looked phenomenal. At least what we saw, anyways.
Mhm.
But you might have more insight now that the battle's over. You could maybe give us a peek behind the curtain. Maybe we're playing. Obviously, you're not going to be like, "Hey, this prep is there's some shitty things going on." Like you got to let it play out first.
Right.
Um, so we'll talk about that on the podcast. Leading in, you were confident. Were you actually confident at that moment, or were you like, "Look, the battle's I can't back out now, so I might as well, put on a strong front." Ask you about that, like where you were, because we were relatively close to Sheffield at that point. You
Mhm.
could walk us through the day, and then the big final poll question. What happened with the final poll? The discussion in terms of the last 60 seconds before that, when you and Joey got to talk about it. Um, Afterwards, Joey made a post in his stories. Some people were took it as though it wasn't worded properly, and they don't like it. They don't like how it was worded, and your impressions and all that as well. What is next for you? Because a lot of people are, I mean, it could be US Nats to try to go to, Dubai, Worlds in Dubai,
Mhm.
Sheffield after that. But you've said vocally, like previously, look, these turnarounds, these tight turnarounds are not, some lifters can do it, God bless, but that's not me. And
Mhm.
now you're kind of you're in a tough proposition. And obviously Sheffield wasn't what you wanted, but like how quickly does your body turn that around? Like,
Yeah.
so there's all of that. And then I want your impression on the 93s in general, 93s at US Nats,
Mhm.
93s globally. Um, and maybe even we'll talk a little bit about the 83s, like Joe B is in a very similar situation now himself. Anthony is in a similar situation himself. There's a couple, there's a handful of you that thought maybe if things went their way, they wouldn't have to do a US Nats or be talking about this. And we have reigning world champions now who are like, I guess I might not go to fucking Worlds unless I we didn't think we'd be here. And
Mhm.
there's it's not just you. This was a very surprising Sheffield. I mean, afterwards I saw freaking Matt Gary and he's like, who the fuck had this on their bingo card?
Yeah.
There's going to be people who win the fantasy league rubbing it in people's faces like hell. How did you get this right? You what the hell happened? So there's so much to fucking unpack. Let's start, I think, from the get go. In prep, how did you feel and what was going on?
Yeah. So I can start from the perspective of like complete ignorance. Like you're going into the meet and your confidence levels. I would say confidence levels going to me were pretty high. There was that one week where I missed a 365 kg pull that maybe my confidence was a little bit shot, but I had that mindset of like, oh, it's going to be their meet day. So the
Mm,
preparation leading up to it, I thought at the time was solid, right? Like I'm hitting big numbers. I think like my projected total, what Joey had me at was, pretty high. So there was
mhm,
like this aspect of like, watching everyone else's training, like watching Emil's training and Gusov's training, I thought that it would just generally be a tougher battle than we initially anticipated. But if I came in at my best, we should be able to walk out with the W. But it was going to be harder than we initially thought. But I was pretty confident. I mean, if you squat, a 372.5 with some room to spare, and you're thinking, hey, like competition, when the competition standard appears, like we're gonna be able to hit that if we need to hit it, confidence level is going to be at an all-time high. So I felt really confident with the training and all that stuff that we were doing leading up to Sheffield.
and how is the body weight? Because this is another one that people are trying to put themselves together. Like, how did this happen? So, like, maybe cut. How was the body weight?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I when I got to Sheffield, I didn't know that there were people having conversations about my body weight, saying that I was hovering well over 205. I think the podcast leading up to the meet, I said that I was like I was literally like 208, or maybe that would be like what, 94 kg.
Mm,
So that pretty much stayed the same. Like my body weight wasn't astronomically high. It was pretty much on point. I was like a night's away from making body weight. One of the interesting things that did happen, and this only came through me thinking about what actually happened and why I shit the bed so badly when it came to Sheffield was, I got sick that Monday coming in, and I have personally never been sick going into a meet. Like I've never been under the weather, so I didn't really think it would be that big of an issue. I wasn't like having extreme body aches or anything like that. It was just extreme congestion. And I remember when I landed and the first conversation I had with Joey in Sheffield, he's like, "Are you sick?" Like that, like you know how Joey is.
Mm.
Like we're talking about something completely different. And he stops me. I'm like two sentences in, and he stops me. He's like, "Are you sick?" I'm like, "No, I mean, I was sick Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, like when we no, Tuesday we flew in. I was really sick on the plane, but by the time we landed and got situated, I was kind of coming over it. Like I wasn't, deathly sick or anything like that. And I was like, no, it's not going to be a problem. Like I feel great. It's not going to be an issue. But that was a concern of his. He was like asking me questions about the sickness. Do you have any body aches, any of that kind of stuff? Once again, I've never competed sick, whatever. But it wasn't a personal concern of mine at all. I was just like, hey, I was sick at the beginning of the week. I'm fine now. It's not gonna that big. It's not gonna be that big of a deal.
I remember the very first Sheffield. Atwood got like for really real sick, but I think he had like food poisoning sick,
Oh, okay.
and he was stuck in his room like barfing. And at one point, I think it was Sierra Pittman who was like filming for him, and she was there, and she asked herself, "This is part of the story. Do I film him barfing?" And she was, and she's like, no, I won't. It's like, you probably should have. And then, because it is part of the story. And then when we saw Taylor, like, I remember famously Jess being like, "Are you okay?" Because he looked like shit. Like you can't front sometimes. She's like, "Are
Yeah.
you okay?" And he's like, "I feel great. I feel like I'm gonna kill it." And then she was telling herself, "You don't feel great, and you are not gonna kill it."
Yeah.
So, but what do? You're stuck. You have to convince yourself it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like you're not gonna say it. But so for you looking back, I just give that story as, do you think you actually did feel great, or were you trying to be positive because it's too late to back out now? You sure as hell aren't going to back out because you're feeling not 100%, but do you think it was impactful?
I don't, so I genuinely don't know. Like I can't sit here and
Mm,
say, yeah, I was sick and it fucked up my performance. I'm just looking at it. It's like, look at everything that happened before the meet, because now you have to question everything that happened. Was your training actually on point? Were you actually strong? Okay, you got sick. Was that a factor or not? Ask
mm.
around. Hey, has any of the lifters dealt with being sick right before meet? Or like maybe you're just coming out of a sickness before meet. Do you feel like it impacted your performance? Because now I'm trying to gather information. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, like this happened. I personally didn't think it was that big of a deal, but maybe hearing other people's experiences will give me insight as to what actually was going on with my body. Because as an athlete, you always want to believe, yo, I know this is happening, but I'm still going to do good. I know this is happening, but I'm still going to do good. I feel good, so I'm going to do good. That's what I'm thinking before the meet actually happened. And then when the meet happened, a whole different story unfolded.
Yeah, fair enough. And it might be just a bunch of variables. If
Yeah.
everything else lined up perfect, maybe it wouldn't have been as big enough a deal. Like for North Americans, you had a stomach issues that dropped your body weight considerably, still did the world record and had a phenomenal day. So, and that's more in spite of, like, who knows what you would have done if you didn't drop a bunch of body weight.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at Sheffield, day of the event.
Mhm.
Let's talk about it. You weigh in, you're on point with weight, you're warming up. How were you feeling in this moment?
I'm not gonna lie, I felt great. I felt good warming up. Like I can only say this. When I was warming up, I'm doing my usual stuff. I'm hyped. I'm like relaxed. I feel good. I'm like, ooh, man, like it's about to be one of those ones. That's how I felt like when I was warming up.
Mm,
Did my last warm up, and I'm like, that moved pretty good. Ready to go up to squat. I didn't know it was gonna be a challenging day until I walked out for my first attempt and I unracked the bar. I literally unracked it, and I'm like trying to get my footing, and I'm like, this feels a little bit heavy. Like this is 325, like this is only 325 kg, like it feels pretty heavy. I did my squat, came out the hole, and I was like, damn, usually like when it comes to squats, because that's my main lift. If it flies, I'm good, obviously, right? Like if it's bouncing off my back and all that, I know it's gonna be a good day. I pushed and I was like, I had to exert a little bit too much effort for an opening attempt, in my personal opinion. knowing where I wanted to squat on my third. And I knew from that point on, I'm like, something isn't right. But even the athlete side of me was like, hey, you're just waking up. Your body's just waking up. Give it some
Mhm.
time. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking it's gonna be a shit day. It's like, hey, we still got time. We got a second in a couple of minutes. Your body's just waking up. It's all good. Because my last attempt in the warm-up room is 270 kg, and then I'm jumping straight to 325. Maybe give your body some time to wake up. That's what I'm thinking. And then once again, as the day started to unfold, I was like, I don't have any sauce in me right now.
So next, we'll walk through this. We'll walk
Yeah.
through the day, but so 356. Now this is a world record second attempt. This
Uh,
is not a small second. I mean, there's a reason why it's a world record.
mm,
Nobody at this level has ever loaded this kind of weight before, and you're about to attempt a world record. So it should feel heavy. And
mm,
you're doing this though off of the back of an opener that didn't feel the way you thought it should, but again, not quite. Oh my God, we have red flags everywhere.
mm.
This one though, I remember watching it and obviously commentating. Your body was shaking and jiving, but your face never changed. The facial expression didn't change during the lift. It wasn't like you're gritting your teeth and like, oh my God, but for sure, it looked tough.
Yeah.
And then, so walk me through this, and then your expressions walking off the platform weren't. If you're a Russel Orhii stockholder, your confidence isn't through the roof.
Yeah. My facial expression was like that during the lift because I was actually irritated. Like whole me unracking it, me squatting it, like through that whole process, my face looked like that because I was actively, you're watching me actively get fucking annoyed with
Mhm.
how, because like it's like, oh, that's you're loading up a world record attempt for your second attempt. And it's heavyweight, quote unquote, but not for me. Like we've smoked 350 in training two or three times, and then like literally, I've unracked 350 in training, and I'm shocked at how light it felt. So
Mhm.
when I unracked it in the meet, I'm like, why does this shit feel so fucking? Now I'm like, now my flags are going up. I'm like, now I'm irritated. So when I squatted it, I was frustrated because I'm like, my strength is not where it should be right now, and there is no way that we are loading like 370, 380 on the bar. Like it's not happening today. That's why my face was like that. And when I walked off, I couldn't even enjoy the fact that it was a world record because I'm like, this shouldn't have looked like this in the first place. So I unlatched my belt and I'm walking. I'm like irritated. I'm like, I mean, I'm like looking at Joy. I'm like, you saw that shit. So, I know you got to do what you got to do. Like, I didn't give you any reason to go like 370. So it was more so irritation of myself because he's looking at me like, because Joey's question is like, how does it feel? X, Y, Z, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. I didn't even say nothing. I just walked off. I'm like, you saw that. Like, you know what to do. So,
So at this point, you're not where you want to be, and you're not going to load 370s, 380s.
mm,
However, on the flip side, it's more, slightly more than you squatted at North American Championship. And at the North American Championship, you still posted up a big total. I mean, big total. You posted up the freaking world record,
mm,
and a total that could still win you this battle. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Overall, like the exact weightage, you did 918 at North Americans, and obviously 920 won this battle. So you don't need 370, 380 to win this battle. So,
yeah,
as far as you're concerned at this point, okay, you're not where you want to be, but you're not out of this either. Is
yeah.
that what you're telling yourself, or what are you thinking in terms of that?
I'm not. So the battle is the battle, right? I'm more annoyed with the fact that like we're not showing up the way that we anticipated, right? And then like you are right. We're thinking that we need all the juice, everything on squat to keep us in the game. Now, it unfolded differently. Once I finished up my attempt, I think they both missed their third. So I remember Joey coming back to me. He's like, "Hey, they just missed their third." So I'm thinking in regards to the battle. All right, let's put the nail in the coffin. Let's end it right now. Like we could end this meet right now. Um, and he put in a number to me that wasn't like crazy. I was like, this is gonna be ugly. You're gonna have to like grit your teeth and fight for this shit. There's no being cute right now on the platform. Get it. So that was the mindset going to the third squat.
365.5. And considering you did 372 and a half, Joey pulled it back.
Mhm.
And you're, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? You have to throw something on there.
Mhm.
In all indications, that was a tough squat, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, the battle's on. And if you miss this, all three you missed.
Yeah.
So how was 365 on that day not even close? Like this was after this happened. After 365 doesn't move. Um, Now what are you thinking? Again, Joey already told you they missed. So in terms of a battle, bigger picture, by no means is this over. As a matter of fact, you're all head and head. But what are you thinking now?
After the miss, right?
Yeah, the third miss. Yeah.
Yeah, so after the third miss, I was like, I was like, damn, this is embarrassing. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. That was a big battle, like mentally, I'm not gonna lie. Like that was a big battle going down into the warm-up room for bench. And I had to actively detach myself and do some mental exercise downstairs in the back room because I have big body, shout out to big body, which is Joey's brother, and he's also a flex coach. Sitting next to me. He's like, he's like, I know squat didn't go the way you wanted it to, but we're in a fucking battle now. Like, let's fucking work, let's fucking grind, like let's fight, let's do X, Y, and Z. We're like, now you got to earn this shit. And I was like frustrated, and he gave me he fucking like pushed me kind of like lovingly. He's like, come on, man, what the fuck are you doing? I
Mm.
called at him. I was like, all right, let's move on to bench. Let's get to work. So we got to work, and that's pretty much where the mindset was at. It was like, hey, squat didn't end up the way you wanted it to, and people are gonna say stuff or whatever, but it was more so important to me that it didn't get where I wanted to go to. But the battle's still on. Like, what are you gonna fucking do? Like, pout your way through this meet and lose? Like, nah, let's try to fight.
At this moment in time, are you telling yourself, I am not at 100%? Like, I am,
Yeah.
are you for sure, like, okay, we are off? Or are you thinking, I can rally back from this and still hit what I want to hit for bench and deadlifts? Or is the conversation, we're off, we need to adjust to what we have on the day because
Mhm.
something's off?
It's that middle ground. So for me, it was like, okay, squat was off. I'm not sure if I'm all the way off. We're about to find out.
Mm.
But it was more so we got to keep fighting. I mean, we're still in this thing. It's not like we missed our third and they hit all their lifts and it's just like unreachable at this point. So for us, it was like a information gathering moment because it's like, okay, squats off. Are we off in general? Because that's the conversation we're having. It's like, are we off in general? Is everything off? Are you just completely weak for the day? Or for whatever reason, squats off, and then like maybe it'll allow your deadlift to show up, and like maybe you could pull for the dub or something crazy like that. So it was more so just like, hey, let's stay in this meet, let's keep grinding, let's hit our numbers for bench and keep it within range, and then see what's up for deads.
So, talking about bench, you opened up at 195,
Mm,
2.5 kilos less than you opened up in North Americans. Not crazy,
mm,
not crazy less, but you opened up less. Nevertheless, is that to have a range finder because you're like, all right, like you just said, we're off, but maybe not crazy off. Drop a 2.5, nothing crazy. Let's see how that moves. The real difference is for me, is whereas North Americans, you open up at 197 and a half, you very confidently jump to 207.5, a 10-kilo jump, and you hit. Whereas Sheffield, you drop 2.5 kilos, probably a rangefinder. I'll let you walk us through us, obviously.
mm.
But instead of confidently jumping up 10, you only went up 5. And
Yeah.
then and that was a battle. And then you only jumped up 2.5. So you ended off 202.5.
Mm,
Now, so I'll let you tell it. What I do like is you, Joey, despite the day you're having, still ended up going 3 for 3 in bench, reconfigured yourself and recalibrated and got every kilo you could out of bench. But my God, I'm sure at this point you guys are like, okay, we're off. But walk us through the
Yeah.
conversation of opening less than you did in North Americans,
Mm.
far more conservative second attempt than North Americans, and then after that second attempt, you're like, holy shit, we're up against the wall. Like we're talking 2.5 for our thirds.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, so we opened up lighter. It was more so like a rangefinder, kind of like what you said, like, hey, we're just opening up light to see what we have for the day. Um, So once we did the first attempt, I came off and for me, you have to be honest because you have to give your handler, you have to give the guy calling numbers an accurate depiction of what's going on. Because last thing you want to do is like keep believing yourself as an athlete and then you just keep fucking yourself and missing lifts. And when you miss lifts, it's like a compounding effect, right? So you miss your third on squat, you miss your you miss maybe a second on bench because you're lying to your coach, oh, I can get it together, I miss groove X, Y, and Z, and then he puts more on than you can handle, and then now you're missing more lifts. Your confidence level and the way that you're going to be competing is just going to continue to shoot down. So when I did my first attempt, once again, it's supposed to be a rangefinder, and I'm like, man, I'm not gonna lie, that didn't feel great. He's like, all right, five. I'm like, all right, that's a good number. Do the second attempt. Obviously, that was a good call because that it was hard. I was like, damn, like why is that shit so like why is 200 so heavy? Like what I'm irritated. It's like why is 200 so heavy? But hey, it is what it is. Now we know for sure, like I'm just not having a good day. But also it's hard too because bench has just been stubborn for whatever reason. Since I moved up, it just hasn't tracked the way the other lifts have. So we're gonna figure that out. It's always been a lift for me that's just annoying as fuck to kind of push along. I had a random spurt, had a
Yeah.
random spurt a year and a half ago, and I have to figure out like what I was doing during that time and make it come up again because 202 to end the meet with 202 is just kind of like that's super that's embarrassing too, man. It's just tough, but um I wanted to go 3 for 3 on bench, just build some momentum. Like, let's get
Mhm.
something right going. And like and just paying attention to what's happened to other 93s, Emil's missing his second and third. So
Yep.
you just want to have some good rhythm going into deadlift. So that's what the game plan for that was.
And I mean, this is where like the mature athlete comes in coaching as well for Joey. If
Mm.
the and you're 100% right. If the day is off, it's one thing to be like, I'm no, I'm tough. I could do this. If you lie to your coach and just say load it up and I'll hit,
No, hell
it
no.
that's not real though. You won't though. I got you. That's great, the gumption and all that. That's how people lose. That's how like Turbo Tiff, who ended up winning all of Sheffield, and has been in an absolute tear ever since Worlds. But at Worlds, she started missing and kept missing right up to losing to Heather Connor, whom isn't the stronger person in the room, but was the better power lifter on the day.
Yeah.
That happens. And to your point, you there's gumption and there's heart, but there's also don't lie to me because if we keep missing, we're cooked. And
Yeah.
coming out of bench, you weren't cooked. You weren't in an amazing spot, but other people weren't in amazing spots either. To your point about Emil, people were missing. The fight by no means was over.
Mhm.
It wasn't where you wanted to be though. So you guys are really range finding at this point. You're five
Yeah.
kilos down, so you're slightly up on squat from North Americans, 5 kilos down on bench. Still not crazy though. So you're 4.5 kilos off from North Americans. That still puts you around 915 range. That could still win you this battle, depending on how these other gentlemen like. That's still a big freaking total, considering all things considered. So you're not out of this.
Mhm.
You're leaving the bench press. What are you thinking walking into deadlifts? You're warming up for deadlifts. You're feeling the deadlift weight. Now, how is the conversation? Now, how is the warm ups going? And now, where are you at?
Fried, man. Fried, cooked. I have never experienced what I experienced leading into deads. Like I was like, hey, all right, squats out the way, bench out the way. Let's see what deads is looking like, right? But
Mhm.
now I'm getting a full picture. I'm like, man, this is not a good day. Like this is not from what we projected, this is not a good day for our personal selves, but at the same time, there's still a battle at hand. So when I'm warming up, I'm trying to keep the positive energy. It's like, yeah, like we're gonna fucking do what we gotta do. Man, I was just warming up and I just know that that's not how warm up should move. Like I can't lie
Mhm.
to myself. I'm like, dog, our mind is trying to take us into this direction, but our body is just rejecting it. My last warm up was 270, and I looked at it, I was like, this is 270. I was like, I'm like looking like, okay, yeah, that's 270. I was like, we're fucked. Like, I don't have anything. And that opening
Mhm.
attempt, what was it, 315 or something like that?
Yes.
That was supposed to be
And
a yeah, that was supposed to be a
it,
rangefinder. Woo, boy, I did that 315. I said, damn, man, that felt like a second. And I was doing my head because like, I was doing the math in my head. I'm like 315. I'm like, that's not even seven, like that's not even I don't yeah, it's not even 700 pounds. And I'm like,
mhm.
oh shit, like this is not gonna be a good one.
For perspective, that would have been in the warm up room for North Americans. North Americans, you started at 330. So
Yeah,
you were opening up with weight that would never have appeared on the platform
yeah.
at North Americans when you're breaking world records.
Yeah, and when and like I said, being an honest athlete prior, when I'm walking it, because for people that don't know, Sheffield's warm-up room is like downstairs, and like where you're sitting to get called onto the platform, that's like the upstairs part. So you have to I'm being handled and warmed up by Big Body downstairs, and then upstairs is where Joey's handling the athletes. So Body's sending him text messages like, "Oh, this is what warm is looking like," and then I get upstairs and Joey's like, "How did it feel?" I was like, "Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm fried, like straight up, straight up. It's not like I'm not trying to say I'm quitting or anything. I'm just letting you know you have a hand. We're playing poker, whatever. You're looking at your hand. We're cooked. Like I'm cooked right
Mm.
now. Like let's manage how we can with what we have, but like I'm fried." And when I did my first attempt, he saw it and he's like, "I see what you're talking about. Like you don't have shit in the tank." And that's pretty much what happened with deadlifts. It was literally just we wanted to fight, and I'm like, bro, I literally don't have any hands anymore to throw punches. Like there's nothing left, man.
So this is the unenviable situation you're in
Mm,
because you have two more attempts. So you
mm,
load up 335. Now, again,
mm.
for context, 335 is only 5 kilos more than your opener at North Americans when you broke the world record. So
Yeah,
335 for Russ previously as a 93 is
it's
with
an absolute
with like opening weight. That's opening weight for you. That's 5 kilos more in your opener. But now it's a second attempt. Not only is it a second attempt, walk us through it, but it obviously looked like the fight of your life, and this was not an opening weight. This was like
body of your life is
this was
crazy.
like holy
You're
shit.
right. Yeah, so he loaded yeah, he told me he was gonna load up I think like 335, right? Like something around there.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
remember just thinking, I'm like, why does that sound so heavy? Like, why does that sound like insurmountable right now? Um, and I walked out there and I'm like hyping myself up mentally. I'm like, come on, it's just 335, X, Y, and Z. Like, I normally don't do that for a second. Like, I shouldn't have to do that for a second, but I had to. And I was like, who knows? Like, maybe this is gonna move fast. I started pulling that shit, and I'm like, what? Like, this is literally all I have. Like, I was slow on lockout, and I'm like, that's it. That's all I have. That's all I have. And I'm walking out. I'm walking off the platform, and then Joey's looking at me. He's like, he's like, you don't have anything more than that. What do you want to go 2.5 or whatever?
Jesus.
Look, we could talk about it downstairs, and then we laid out a full game plan. But it was like, where do you go from there? That was like a max out of 10. What do you want me to do? Like load up another like 10 or 2.5, 5. Like, I don't know. That's what the conversation was in the back room.
So Joey ended up loading. Let me get the exact weight here. 352.5. So again, this is obviously less than you've already achieved at North Americans. Historically speaking, like you did 355 at North Americans. So this is normally would be weight that you should hit.
Mm,
But to your point, this is going to be more like you were cooked at 335. So 352.5 sounds like a complete Hail Mary. God bless. Let's just. So what they ended up, if I remember correctly, this would have put you in the lead if Gustav and Emil missed their third. So it would force them to have to hit their thirds. So you would be forcing the hand. You guys have to hit. You
mm,
miss, I win.
mm,
If you hit, but you're thinking like there's no way in hell I have this. So I'm interested in the conversation because there's more layers to this.
mm.
You also have American Nationals 5 weeks later. So there's a couple pieces here. If you choose a lesser weight, you you concede the battle, but you bump up your total potentially for the people at North American, sorry, people at American nationals to have to beat. However, you're at 893, so you might be telling yourself. So then the other layer is these guys are all going over. Let's say you bump it 5 kilos. You might be telling yourself, no, no, 5 kilos. Like there's not a question at U.S. nationals they're going over that.
Mhm.
That's even if I get around like 900 kilos, there's no way they're going over that. So there's a couple things in motion. Do you try for a fucking Hail Mary and pray that you hit to force the hand and still win the battle? Do you concede the battle and load something lesser to try to force the hand those at U.S. nationals? Or do you say that's not going to force anyone's hands? It's just not heavy enough.
Mhm.
Or do you hold back and say, don't hit your final? You're probably going to have to do U.S. nationals if you have any hope of making Worlds 2026 and then the following Sheffields, etc. And I say any hope because depending on how cooked you are, you've already said you're not the type to turn around, even if you're not cooked at all, even if you're totally primed, 5 week turnaround is going to be tough.
Mhm.
But if you're going to have any hope of turning it around, you're already overcooked. Uh, Doing a crazy grinder and failing is going to be like it's just augmenting the situation. So you have three things going on and you don't have a lot of time. You
Mhm.
don't have a lot of time at all. I'm very interested. What was brought up? What are you thinking? Did you even have time to process all this? Because this is not probably a conversation you guys would have had coming into this. Because I highly doubt you guys thought you'd be in this position. So you're,
Yeah, so it's this is gonna be a long answer because a lot of things were going on at the same time. It's really funny because me and Joe Bornstein were actually sharing the same warm-up platform. So like we were
mm,
squatting and warming up together and coming off a squat, I think it was coming off a squat or bench. We were both already having the conversation about doing nationals. Like yeah, we were
you're
it's like
all looking at each other like, I'll see you there, huh?
yeah, it was like a situation. It's like he's like, I have to do nationals now. Like, I have to do nationals. That's what we're like. We were kind of talking about that. I'm like, shit, man. I don't know if I'm like, shit, you got it. I was like, you got it, young gun. Like, you got it. Like, you go do nationals type thing. And I'm thinking, like, man, maybe we could go back into the off season and just like, this is what I needed. I needed this embarrassment and this like type of performance to go into the off season and really, lock in and become the lifter I want to be. But going back to the dead situation, we get to the second there's no juice left. There's no juice left or whatever. I come off and he's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Let's go talk about it downstairs." Because we had already been talking throughout the deadlift process about what do we need to do in the future. We were kind of already past the meet, and it sounds crazy, but we're already game planning things we need to do because we know this is a big meet in regards to what's going to happen for the rest of the year. Like this was supposed to set the tone as to our world team nominations. And we knew, like kind of what you said, we knew, bro, putting 2.5 on there isn't gonna make the 93s of the US be like, oh shit, like he did 895. Like, like
Mhm,
we
right.
gotta go beat that. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, to me, the battle's over. Like I'm not, I'm pretty sure like those guys are they don't have to do much to beat me. That's over. What are some things we could think about for nationals? Like, I'm not going to go out there and fry myself and potentially injure myself if we could keep this other door open. I know I don't like doing quick turnarounds or whatever, but if we do it, what do we need to start thinking about and doing in order to get ourselves ready for that potential? Like it's not a definite, but the potential of doing it if we're able to put together a package. So it's kind of like a lot of thinking that happens on the fly, and then you just make the decision. It's like, all right, we're gonna go out there for our third and thank everybody, or shake the judges' hands, do what we have to do, and then get off the platform and then start focusing on what we need to start doing going forward because this meet wash, like we just don't have it, right?
Mm.
Um, so that's literally what the thought process was. Like we were having that conversation kind of downstairs a little bit. But I held off on it fully to see what deadlift was gonna bring. I'm like, hey, maybe maybe I have some sauce there. Maybe we can still do something. And then once I pulled the 335, I was like, wow, That's all I got, man. I mean, there is no Hail Mary. If I felt amazing, like if I move that 335 and move fast, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary with this dude 370, 375. But it's like literally we saw on the second, bro, there's nothing really left there.
So you're now in a position um, with a possible 5 week turnaround. You do have 5 weeks to assess to see where the hell you're at
Mm,
because you don't know how long it takes to bounce back. You're thinking, historically speaking, you're going to need more, even if you're fully peaked. And
yeah.
I know you probably don't even have enough data calculated, not enough time to separate you from Sheffield to know if you're going to be able to bounce back, how quickly, and if this is a good idea.
Mm,
Um, because the worst, obviously, like it's got to taste, we'll get into it, but it's got
mm,
to taste bad, a bad taste in your mouth, Sheffield. Then if you tell yourself, all right, if the numbers leading into PA Nats or it doesn't bounce back in time, then it becomes a question of do I just show up to have another Sheffield performance? So now, like, I'm really going to be upset. Like, the way you felt, it's like, all right, no, but I know, like, the miracle's not coming. So we'll dive into that in a second. What
yeah.
the future looks like, what you're thinking, and when you think you'll know if your body will turn back around.
Mm,
But quick question. Let me ask you this.
mm,
If those layers due to qualifying, due to Sheffield being a qualifier for Worlds, and then US Nats being the second chance qualifier that Joe B is going to take that is on the table for you.
mm.
Let's say that that scenario wasn't there, and it wasn't that you might have to turn this freaking around. Otherwise, your 2026, I don't want to say is a wrap, but it's considerably altered.
Mm.
Let's say none of that has to be in concession, has to be talked about for you, Joe B, or whatever. And all it was the Battle of the 93s in Sheffield. All that's on the table is the Battle of 93s in Sheffield. You don't have to worry about saving anything and consider your pathway to Worlds or anything. Let's say this is the end of the year. This is the end of the year. This is the championship match. Put it that way.
Mm.
So there is no more after this. Do you go out for a third attempt and just and try anyways and say fuck it, load something up, let me see what happens if this is the last game of the year?
Like load up the 357 or something like that, or just load up a third.
Um, or you tell me. But let's say because this isn't the last game of the year, so it were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but let's say it is.
I would say, yeah. I mean, like obviously, like in a world where none of those things exist. I mean, you go out there and like it's the last meet of the year. There's nothing else to look forward to or whatever. Then sure, yeah, go do the pool. Um, yeah, I'm thinking about one moving up 2.5, and then or like moving up a 5 or something like that, and the other one it's like, oh, like we're just this is the win right here. We're gonna go shoot for it. Because I'm genuinely trying to think like, would I just load up some shit that like I just can't do and just go out there and try to pull it?
We'll put
Um,
it this way. Let me frame it better. Let me frame it better. Um, because the scenario isn't this. But so you love basketball and drop the basketball comparisons in your stories of Kobe, Jordan, etc. Even after the Sheffield, you were dropping famous picks and scenarios of them. The reason why they have a different scenario than you, they have a clear and decisive season, championship, end, and then off season, and then we renew. So, um, what happens? Like the final game is the final game,
mhm.
and Jordan is not saying I don't got it today. I'm not come take me out of the fourth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
saying give me
No,
the
no,
goddamn ball. And
yeah.
what I'm telling you is people will say mama mentality would be give me that fucking ball. It's like I don't give a shit how I feel. I'll find that gear. I'll find it. And that's how people would position you. So that's what their expectations would be. So if you don't come out, they're going to say, where was that mama mentality? Where was the Jordan? Where was whatever?
Yeah.
However, the difference being it isn't the final game. This you actually have a qualifier for worlds to be a world champion. Like they're going to be world champions. Like I know NBA people say it's not worlds, whatever. Work
Mhm.
with me here, international people listening to this. World championships is the end goal. And for you to get there, you have to actually consider turning this around in 5 weeks. and it has to be in the conversation. So it isn't quite the same as that. So that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that's what I'm painting. Yeah.
I completely understand. And I think like it's such a nuanced conversation, right? Because even in
Mm-hmm.
sports, when you're getting blown out, right? Like there's games that Jordan and Kobe and Tom Brady played, they're mathematically removed from the equation. And what does the coach do? The coach pulls the starters because it's like, hey, this game is over with. Like y'all are not winning this. Like mathematically, you're not. There isn't a 10-point play in 2 minutes, like in 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, obviously you want to have mama mentality all the time and you want to push through like adversity and all that kind of stuff, which I think I did during the meet. Like it's not like I just completely quit after squats. Like I think we still tried to put things together, but the it just wasn't there. It's like, hey, there's a definite weight that like you just cannot hit. But if it was a scenario where this is the last meet of the year, we have nothing to look forward to, I'm gonna load up something to do I'm gonna load up something that, hey, this is literally all we have left, and we're gonna attempt to pull it. Um, but it wasn't like I think like the more accurate depiction would be something more like maybe you can hit it, maybe you can't hit it. I don't know. About to find out. Like, is this about to be a PR for you type situation where it's like you're hitting, like you're shooting the last second three, or like you're doing the last pass for the game. But yeah, I think in a different scenario that you presented, yeah, you're gonna go out and do your third because it's in the last time you're gonna compete for the year, or like the last situation, it's like final game or whatever. Um, I wouldn't have done that. For example, I wouldn't have done that maybe at like an IPF Worlds, I guess. Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's
No.
say IPF Worlds, because that probably, obviously, Worlds qualifies you for Sheffield, but winning it is really, that's where the final game scenario actually works because you have to win Worlds. Uh, so even though you could argue, well, there's Sheffield afterwards, no, but you got to win Worlds. So
Yeah.
if it's IPF Worlds for the World Championship, are you loading to win, despite the fact that your second attempt, you're like, I got nothing left? Do you tell yourself, I'll go back, I'll fucking remember something my dad told me 3 years ago or whatever. Like, what do you do? What do you do in that scenario?
Damn.
And then I'll tell you what I want you to do.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll tell you exactly what I want you to do.
Uh,
But let me hear what you do.
damn. Okay, I'm trying to feed myself this scenario. I'm literally like an athlete trying to get in that mode. Okay. We got to pull. Let's say we got to pull 380.
Oh, fuck. Well, no, let's say, though, let's not say 380. Let's say it is the 352.5. Let's just keep it to what it
Oh,
was.
with the same scenario that we have
Let's
going
say
next.
same scenario. Yeah. Same scenario. 352.5, but you felt the way you felt with 335. But
Okay.
352.5, it's the world championship final game.
Yeah, I'll go and try to pull that.
Okay, thank God.
It's not it like
Thank God. Thank God.
I think it's going up. Probably not, but I'm gonna try to convince myself that it is. Because it's like, I mean, shit, what else are you gonna do? I mean, not doing it is a definite L. But then, like, if you go out there and something happens, something magical, I don't know, God touches you as you're doing it, you're able to pull it.
Oh,
Uh,
here's the thing. You exactly what you just said.
yeah,
Not doing it, you lost. It's over. Going out there and saying it's going to take a miracle, but fuck it, today we believe in miracles. That's
yeah,
all. That's what it literally is. That it literally is. Fuck it. Let me try. And if you unless you're like you let's say your second attempt, you felt something in your lower back where you're like, holy shit, I'm not injured, but I could.
mm,
And then you're like, all right, if I go out there, legit, man, I just pulled something in my back. We stop now. I'm okay. We don't like that. Okay, look at if you're gonna get injured, no. No, like
yeah. No,
because
I
some
wasn't.
people get injured, you go Jesse Norris and you never come back. That's a whole different scenario. But that's why, but let's say it's not that. And you didn't feel slightly injured. It's just it will take a miracle. As a hopeless romantic sports guy who grew up like you like on those type of stories,
Mm,
you want your heroes to be like the coach is like, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take a miracle, and you want your athlete to reply back, then fucking load it and let's pray for a miracle.
yeah, yeah,
You want to hear that. That's what you want to hear. You
Yeah.
don't want to hear, I agree. Don't bother loading it. I'll just take my L without trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would break my heart. That would
Mm,
legitimately break my heart, especially the way I see you and the way
yeah.
I see some people. It's like that would crush me
Mm,
to think they're because to me and a lot of sports fans when you like look up to people, you that's how you perceive them as like fucking take it out of my dead hands.
mm,
Take it out of my hands then. I got no chance. I got you. It's going to take a miracle. Well, fuck it. Miracles happen today. Huh? Let's
yeah.
see. Let's see. Um, but of course, like that would be the context of the last game. Flip side, things are far more complicated, and you have to have the conversation of, uh, do we turn this around? What the hell are we looking at? So, okay, I'm glad you answered that. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank God all is right in the world. And that would be the mama mentality, the Brady, and every freaking different whatever scenario. So that's done. Sheffield's over.
Mm,
I'm going to get your impression of it looking back now that you had some time, but also, so here we are. It isn't the final game. Worlds is probably the final game. And the pathway to Worlds, we know what that is. You did what you could on the day to try to conserve as much energy as you could, but you already know in the best of circumstances, you don't like 5 week turnarounds. And previously you're like this, like I'm not a 5 week turnaround guy. Now you're like, you're cooked. You're really cooked. You're probably more cooked than you've ever been cooked.
yeah.
You didn't take the last dead to try not to overcook, but you're probably still overcooked, right? What are we looking at here? Are you like day to day? Let me see. Is it coming back? Is it starting to come back now? Or are you like, no, 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 no? Like,
It's
what's the
lit-
update?
yeah, it's literally day to day. So like when we left, it's funny because we signed we signed up for nationals like as Sheffield was going on, basically. Like so the conversation was
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I think like either it was because yeah, we basically were like we're gonna sign up for Sheffield and we're gonna get back home and see what we have. So literally the day that I landed, I went back to the gym. Like I landed, went to the gym, training, just trying to see where the body's at, see what we could salvage. And the mindset is like if people are gonna go to Worlds, we wanted to make it difficult. Like we don't want just like a fucking easy pathway. If I'm in the weight class like you're gonna have to fight harder than that. It shouldn't just be like, oh, like Russ shit the bed and we're just gonna walk into nationals or walk into IPF Worlds. It's gonna be like, hey, we had to beat Russ to get here. So we're literally just seeing what we could salvage. We're gonna see what we could build in the next 5 weeks. But the goal is to try to put together a vision. And it's like, hey, I present to you this. It's like, hey, uh, Joey's gonna tell me this is what I'm thinking that we could hit at nationals. Are you okay with that? Okay, this sword is broken. My shield is chipped right here, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool in my ability to show up with that. So let's do it. Let's run it. Let's see what's up. So that's kind of where we're at. We're trying to see like how much weaponry we could bring to nationals. And if it's looking like it's like, brother, you don't even have a sword, you don't have a shield, it's probably best we
Mm.
think long term now. All right, cool. But if you could give me something, if I could have a dagger and I'm fighting motherfuckers with the whole sword, I'll take my chances with that. I'm cool with that, but I don't want it to just be like best case scenario, you're gonna have to fucking fight to get to that US singlet. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
Um,
Literally day to day.
yeah, like for instance, if the battle's already on, it's one thing where you don't want your heroes and idols um, to quit in battle, like we already covered. But
Yeah.
in this scenario, you also don't necessarily you don't want your heroes and idols to avoid battles, but my God, you've been in so many battles, we ain't never worried about that. You just also do, I think it's different and it's far more understanding on my behalf as well. If you were like, all right, the way things are trending, I hit 893 and I'm pacing for like 880. So with all due respect, like if you're like,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah, yeah.
we did some
No,
damage. We did
yeah,
some damage.
we have
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
we have numbers. It's like, hey, if we hit this, we're going. Like that's where
Okay,
I'm at.
okay.
It's like, hey, if you're projecting me, if you project me at this number, I'll do it. But if it's like I'm just showing up to just show up again, it's like, why do that when we could just focus on training? Like I fucked up big time at Sheffield, and let's take that lesson. And I'm the type of person I could endure the suck. Like I could endure, I could embrace like people saying I'm not good and I'm overhyped, I'm not trash. I can embrace that for the rest of the year. Like I could do that. It's not
Mm.
that big a deal to me if I know that I'm getting better during that whole process. So it's just figuring out like is that going to be the game plan? I don't know. But if I hit certain numbers, then it's like, nah, fuck that. Like we're gonna take it's not our best, but we'll take it to now. I'll take that to nationals. I'll let that ride at nationals. Like there's I don't have a problem necessarily losing. I just have a problem like not trying in a sense. Um, I think that's the biggest thing. It's like I don't have to be at my best to compete. If I'm like at a certain number and I know it's not my best, but I know I can still compete, all right, let's do that. Anything happens to me,
Mm.
obviously. I've shown that anything could happen to me day. So,
Mm.
I might bring a certain package to nationals, and some people might you think that people are bringing their best, but sometimes shit happens on meet day, so you never know.
Well, that's 100%. It'd be a shame if you're like, all right, I think I'm at like, let's say you turn it around in time for 9:10, which is
Mhm.
below your best, um, below what you'd expect of yourself. But then you watch Nats, crazy people are missing lifts all over the place, and 9:10 on body weight would have won it.
We
Nine
talked, we
ten wins
talked
it, and if you were slightly less, you'd be like, God damn it!
We
I
talked. We
thought nine.
talked about. Yeah, we talked about this, and I'm like, man, I don't know. 910 is a super low number, but
Not
shit.
really, but kind of. Like it's not.
But
It's literally 10 kilos below the world record and
so
the biggest total we've ever seen. But I
yeah,
know what you mean.
what's interesting about this whole conversation. I think that like in regards to powerlifting, we always only talk about people's ceilings.
Yeah.
So when we were discussing full transparency, we had a mill at 940 pushing 950 because
Mhm.
that's where we're thinking his ceiling is at. And I'm sure people were pushing my ceiling like, 940, 950. I mean, it's rare where people hit that ceiling. It's
Mhm.
it's somewhat rare where people hit that ceiling. And I feel like, yeah, we're all having conversations like at nationals where pretty much all the best 93s are at. And it's like, yeah, we have Will Ball at 940, maybe 950. We have Keiko kind of, 930, 940. Those ranges, and it would suck if we don't do nationals and like everyone just kind of gets into that 910, 915 range, you know, because that's a possibility too. But everyone as a whole, everyone who's in a sport is thinking, no, he's gonna hit that top end. There's no reason that's why he should hit that ceiling, right? But it's sports, shit happens. So that would be really frustrating if I didn't go and the winning total was like a 910 or like a 915. That would be really
And
that'd be frustrating.
um,
I ain't gonna lie.
not only that, Russ. Let's throw this out here. Let's say the majority are 9:10, 9:15. Everyone else, because they're battling and reaching to win. Let's say
Yeah.
the winner.
Mm.
Let's say the winner's 9:30, 9:40. Let's say that. Let's say whoever the shit it is, doesn't matter who it is. Let's say they win with 9:30, 9:40. But second place, because everyone's pulling in their thirds and stretching to do 9:30, 9:40, they fall all the way back to 9:15. So let's say you do 9:15, you're second place. My friend, how many times do people get injured, pull out of worlds, or don't make worlds, and the guy who came in second goes? Or like Keenan, Anthony McNaughton and Keenan both go to worlds. What if just second place sends you to worlds and then you hit your 9:30, 9:40, and it's like, let's change this conversation. Now everybody's like, whoa, okay. Russ came in second at nationals, but he won worlds, and now you want to see that showdown again and blah blah blah. So the pathways, I don't gotta tell you, because you went to North Americans, ended up at Sheffield. You went to North Americans, broke the world record. You
Mm.
can't even foresee the pathways next necessarily. 9:15 could be a second place and a far second and still get you where you want. Last Keenan fucking Lee, second at nationals, second at worlds, won the battle at Sheffield against
Yeah.
the reigning world champion,
Yeah.
but only by showing up and coming in second a couple times in a row. And he was injured, not at his best. Did he have that moment? So it isn't completely easy to call.
Mm.
Um, so there is that conversation as well. Have you thought about that where you're like, hey, fuck it. Maybe if you're in this and you actually gotta be humble and say, if everyone, because this is what Jurens did to come in to make it to Sheffield. This is what Jurens did is let at a shoot for Joe B. I'll try to be the top second place finisher and make it to Sheffield. Let Ade trying to chase Joe B. I know what my goal is. If you show up at US Nats, be like, I am not 100%. And if Will Ball, Keiko, or whomever, Gavin, whatever, want to shoot like crazy, let them shoot like crazy. I'm going to try to come in as close to my top end. And if that's second, God bless. Let me see what that brings me. If that's North Americans again, watch your ass because I'll take the world record all over again. I'll see you at Sheffield. Or if that's maybe it even takes me to worlds. Like, are these things you got to consider as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the most part, it's like, hey, we're just gonna show up with the tools that we have. We know we're not at our best, and that brings us like comfort in a sense. But at the same time, too, it's like we're not at our best, but just can't something don't sit right with like me being in the weight class and people it's like this is a smooth ride. But at the same time, too, like that conversation of, hey, you know, do your best and shit happens. Kind of like what you said, like we haven't gotten that deep into like maybe getting invited as an alternate, all that kind of stuff, but literally just show up and shit happens. Like you
Mhm.
never know. But it's also about putting together a package to where you could show up if that makes sense. Like if like you said, if we're trending towards like, yo, we're still fried, it might look like
Yeah.
an 890, 880 day. To me, I see a lot more benefit of just kind of sitting in the cut and waiting for my turn and just building a better total. But if we're trending like nine, upper nines, it's like, nah, let's run it. Because you never know what could happen on meet day. So it's more so like let's see what's up.
That makes, yeah, I 100% agree. If
Yeah.
you're trending 910, 915, you might be in play to do something. An international team, nevertheless, North Americans possibly as an alternate, but who knows, whatever the shit, doors will open for you. Stay
Mm.
tight. Dog, if you're trending 890, things really got to go south in
Yeah.
the 93s for that to
Um,
get you anywhere. For that to get you anywhere. And if you're also like, um, I need to turn this, like eventually turn this around. If you keep frying myself back to back to back to back, and you're
yeah.
you're like never gonna really turn this around anyways. There's other meets. Is there, because there's so much hype on this, would you give a shit if you're telling yourself, I'm not showing up at 100%? And you have people, you got arch rivals out there. There's an elephant in the room. This would be the first time that you and Petrie go head to head. And obviously, you and him had back and forth previously. I don't know if this is on your mind at all, but are you telling yourself, if me and him finally battle and I'm at like 85%, do I want to, like, this is actually, people would think about this. I don't know if you're like, do I want to finally battle this guy head to head and I'm at 85% and I'm talking about 910, or are you telling yourself, honestly, you don't give a shit? I'm looking bigger picture than that. It is what it is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot, like, not even in a mean way. I don't think about that. Like, I don't. He's not like a rival to me. I don't think about him in a negative way, or like I don't dislike him. I literally just don't think of. The only time I hear about him is like, oh, he said this about you, but I don't think about him being an arch rival or anything like that. So like that wouldn't be something on my mind as I was competing, I guess. Um. Maybe I would think about it more as we were competing because I'm like, oh yeah, he did say this about you, or like, he's still talking or whatever. Okay, like lock in and be him, but nah, it doesn't drive my decisions, or it's not something I'm thinking about in my off season when I'm training and all that kind of stuff. But you now that you just brought it up, I'm like, damn, like yeah, because
You,
I like
you,
like I said,
you styled on him pretty well in the past, so I'm sure he wants to get one in. The thing is, if your total comes down and it happens, it's probably not going to be, like,
oh
put it
yeah.
this way.
Oh, so yeah, if that happened, I'd just be like, okay, like you got me. Like it'd be like
Well,
you got me, but I don't think like I'm like this isn't an accurate depiction of like where I'm actually at. But all right, like okay, you got one. I would eat that. I'd just be like, all right, like you got me. Cool.
that's off. I mean, it is sports and all. In
Yeah,
the
it's
bigger
sports.
picture, it is sports, and you guys will probably run a bunch of these. And in 10 years' time, when you look back, would you ever in a million years say, if I'm not at my best, I can't face this guy with our background and give up the potential of going to worlds, becoming a world champion as a 93, going to Sheffield again? Do no, like that I would see the bigger picture. We'd be like, if
Yeah.
you're making decisions like that, your ego's too big, probably, right? Like
Yeah, no, it's
it
just
would
like
be.
I like, yeah, I think it's also being like not just like in this specific situation, but like just being very confident in understanding who you are. It's like, okay, he beat me this session or this meet, but it's like I know I'm a better lifter. Like I know like when I'm going on, or I'm firing off on all cylinders. I know I'm a better lifter. So whenever let's run it back. Like let's whatever meet he does, I'm just gonna show up. Like I'll just show up with whatever meet he does, and I'll just smoke him, right? But it's like that doesn't bother me. Like taking an L like that, it doesn't really it doesn't bother me in a sense to where like I'm gonna start questioning like I'm not gonna show up and do it. Oh, he's gonna beat me, so I'm not gonna go. It's like what the fuck, hell no. Like
Mhm.
I don't
Well, I
think
mean,
like
there's
nah.
if you did, you would end up you would be talking yourself out of too many scenarios.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like
exactly.
I
You
don't
would
want to
be
give that guy the satisfaction of beating me. It's like I'm not thinking
because you
like that.
might also be robbing yourself of the satisfaction of going to Worlds again, and you might
Yeah,
and all the rest of it, right? Like you have to, right? Again, obviously with the caveat, at least if you're like 9-10 range, whatever. If you're like well below that, then Jesus,
yeah. If I'm well
it's
below
one
that,
thing.
it's
It's
more
one
so
thing. It's one thing. It's one thing. Petrie beat you. It's another thing. A guy you'd never even fucking heard of is like, holy shit! I just beat Russ at nationals.
yeah, it's
A
more
guy
so
ranked
like
15th. You got a guy ranked 15th.
yeah,
Like, holy fuck! I got to win on Russ. This is
yeah,
crazy.
it's more so like, hey, should we just get back in the lab and build back up, or do we have something to still keep our dream alive?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, so before we talk about like the 93s, 83s, and like a mill and
Mhm.
I got some good questions on the 93s period. Before let's give a couple final notes on Sheffield as you reflect on it now. What are some takeaways, key takeaways that you've learned from it? And then I got one more follow up question. But if you got it, you I'm sure you learned a lot from this.
Like like in the sense of like losing and all that kind of stuff,
You know, period.
or just like the overall
In the
experience.
sense of preparation, what you
Uh,
think went wrong in because there might be some variables. So I
like
know, but and also um and also losing and being like fucking how do I feel about this? How do I compartmentalize this as an athlete and move forward with this? Preparation wise, mentally wise, the whole nine. Now that
yeah,
you reflect.
man. So preparation wise, what I learned from this particular one is that I so for me, it was like really looking at my training soberly, and it's like, bro, you were strong 2 to 3 weeks out. Like you didn't pace yourself properly. And these are things that me and Joey talk about because that wasn't Joey's game plan. Like when I go off program like that, that's me. That's me, the athlete
You're
going.
not program, okay? You know what? I don't think you've officially said that. So you
Oh no, no,
did you?
yeah, I talked about this. I think that
Oh,
820,
really?
yeah, that 821 squat was not scheduled. Like there was a cap. It was just supposed to be 804. And for me, the way that I explained this is that as an 83, I was driving around in a like a small car, like a Toyota or something like that. As a 93, as I had gotten stronger as a 93, like all of a sudden I have a Ferrari. And what do people do with like nice ass cars? They want to test the limits and they want to keep
Mm,
driving at 120 miles per hour and doing donuts in the parking lot and shit. That's what happened with me. So like on squat, I never thought I mean not I ever never thought, but I'm like, bro, I could squat 800 pounds now. Like I could casually do that. And the day that I did 872, I'm warming up. Like I squatted 750, or excuse me, I squatted 350 kg. I squatted it. I'm like, I could still go up. Like I know I'm supposed to do. My cap was 365 for the day. That was
mm,
the, and I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, what's really gonna fuck up Instagram. You know, what's gonna fuck up everyone's like whatever. If I squat 370, you know what? Let me put 2.5 kg on there. Let me squat 372.5 kg.
mm.
I'm like, that's a happy medium between the because I wanted to squat 380. I was like, I could, yeah. I was like, let me squat 380. But I didn't want to make I didn't want to make Joey too mad. Like, I'm like, damn, like this is
Upset, upset.
but this is being 100% honest, this is what I'm thinking as an athlete. And I don't mind being the dumbass or the jackass that everyone watches, and it's like, don't do that. Because I'm learning. I'm learning and I don't mind learning in front of people. So um I'm like, hey, 372 is above what Joey asked, but it's not too above what Joey asked, and we can still make it look good. So I squatted 372. I was not aware that my body would react that way. Like
Mm,
it wasn't extremely hard. It wasn't like it wasn't like a death lift, like where you're just going RPE 10 and you're like you have the shakes and you're gonna die and all that type of shit. And then that following like Wednesday comes and then Thursday comes and I'm like I'm supposed to hit 365 kg. Shouldn't have done that after doing the 372 that I did like literally 2 days ago. But once again, ego comes into play. I'm thinking about, I need to get this out of the way because, if I can hit it in the gym, I can hit it in the platform, all these kind of things. I missed the 365. And then after that, once again, ego gets in the way where it's like, well, if I miss 365, I need to pull 320 for three. That 320 for three was deathly challenging. Like it was
Really?
really difficult. It was like nothing left in the tank. And it makes me wonder, or it makes me think, wow, you were strong when you didn't have to be. Like you were strong 2 to 3 weeks out and you literally left it all in the gym. And by the time the meet came around, you had nothing left. And it made me think because as an 83, I could go off program like that and recover fast enough and be fine. Like there's many times where I go over schedule and I'm able to recover from that. And I'm wondering if as a 93, probably can't do that anymore. Like, I don't know if
Hmm.
it's just the amount of weight that I'm shifting that I just don't have enough time to recover. What I don't know, but that probably, if not, was the sole defining reason as to why I didn't show up at Sheffield. So just have to be smarter in training, have to pace yourself. And I talked to some bigger lifters and they were saying, like, see, this is why you only see me hit XY amount. Like, there's a certain lifter that reached out to me and it was actually really helpful. Um, he talked to me about how his training is and like not necessarily that Joey isn't doing this for me, but it's like me understanding as an athlete, like, nah, like what Joey's giving you is the gospel. So don't think you're smarter or you're doing something that he thinks that you can't do. It's just like he's trying to pace you for the meet. Like there's no,
Hmm.
and I know these things, which is so frustrating too. Like I've shown examples of this. Like my last Sheffield, that prep was phenomenal and I was strong on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like understanding that in its truest sense, even if I'm gaining weight, because I'm thinking I'm gaining weight, I'm strong, I could do whatever, I could just eat and recover instantly. Like I'm thinking I'm Wolverine or Deadpool. Like you could shoot me 1,000 times, I'm fine. Like I'm fat now, so like it doesn't matter. I'm gonna recover. That wasn't the case. So I think that probably lent into me not performing the way I wanted to perform and just got to be smarter from that. I think I do work hard. I think I push myself. I think that I recover and I take it seriously. But at the same time, too, like I'm not training smart. I'm not training like a veteran. I'm not training like someone that's been powerlifting for 10 years. So I think that's the biggest thing I had to learn.
So you're leading into last Sheffield. I remember the conversations and you saying you were so disciplined
Mhm.
after Lithuania Worlds that you were like Joey had you roll back the numbers and you I forget exact details, but you weren't touching near top end.
Nope.
Total contrast. And
Mhm.
then you showed up and I remember asking you, were you not nervous? You just lost that Worlds to Germans. You're rematching him, not even touching your top end weights. The amount of faith you would have to have in the program, and the amount, and if Germans gets another win over you in his hometown with all the Brits in the house, if this happens again, and
Oh,
Germans kept leveling up, he did 872.5 at World Games. Like the guy's a phenom himself. The amount of discipline you would need and the pressure you would feel to be like, man, fuck this. I know what Joey's asking of me, but I
mhm.
need to see. I need to answer a couple questions before I show up because I
Yeah.
cannot show up on that day and not know. And I wouldn't even fault you for that. Knowing here's where pressure is good and bad. Okay? Pressure will make somebody walk into that Sheffield Showdown battle, the 83s that you did, after everybody was dancing on your grave at Worlds and be like, you know what, Joey, I know what you're trying to do, but I need to see where my top squad is. For God's sake, I can't walk into the battle with that question mark. And you literally held back and said, I am so in, whatever happens, happens. I will take an L if this doesn't go right, but I trust the process. You walked in there, broke the world record all over again, won the battle of the 83s, and had like the pinnacle 83s, I'm done moment.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that, which is a total contrast to this Sheffield prep, which you must have been like. But here's the thing: where I don't totally fault you. And I actually had this conversation with Joey at Sheffield. I was saying the thing is though, as a new 93, 100% you're telling yourself, but where is my top end? Because you were an 83 for years. You have an
Mhm.
idea where your top end is, whatever. As a 93, you're legitimately like, I don't know, maybe I'm a freaking 390 kilo squat. I don't know. Am I
Yeah.
holding back too much? Am I
Yeah.
holding myself
So
back?
yeah, no, so these are all and that's what I was saying. Like this whole process has just been very eye-opening. And like I once again, I don't mind failing in front of people and like learning my lessons and understanding like where I'm currently at as a lifter because this is all new to me, bro. Like when I go to the gym, I have 83 Russ sometimes in my mind. It's like, okay, today we have bench, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, wait. We're what 10 kilos up. You
Mm,
can you could do that. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on now. Like, I remember when I squatted I had this one day where I squatted 315 for 7 reps, right? And I was like thinking, I'm like, I remember what the day I decided to do it, it was like the week prior. And I'm like, what, okay, I did 290 today or 295 today. Why can't I just do 315? Like, why not? Like I've done this weight as an 83 um for a couple of reps. Why can't I do this for 7 as a 93? Why not? And I did it. And I'm like, okay, that shit was scary. Like it was scary for me to do that because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, I'm about to because I have no spotters. I'm like, I'm about to kill myself. But I'm stronger now, right? So I have to keep adapting to that mindset. And when I was and I liked how we talked about the 83s, like the preparation for Sheffield. I gave Joey the keys. I was like, this is you. Like, hey man, like show me how great you are. That's
mhm.
literally the mindset that I had with that. I was like, whatever you tell me to do, I'm finna do. You finna show me why you Joey Flex. Show me. Like show me, bro. Like I suck. As a lifter, I didn't get the job done at IPF Worlds for you. I suck. Here's the keys. You Joey Flex. Take us to the promised land. And it's like for me, I abandoned that this prep, and that's why it's partly embarrassing. That's why I included in my caption like I failed him because that wasn't what he was coaching me to do. Like that wasn't what he put together in the game plan. The best way I knew how to explain it was also too. It's like you call a play in the huddle. Hey, we're gonna pass the ball. He's gonna set a screen, and then all right, you're gonna take the final shot. Then when we break the huddle, I'm telling the teammates, hey man, fuck that. Give me the ball and move the fuck out the way. Like Joey got me
Yeah,
fucked up, bro. Like Joey got me fucked up. I'm gonna finna hit this game winner in old boy's face over here. Like, and then I miss. Joey's telling the signs like that's not the fucking play we call. And I'm like,
yeah.
damn, like I'm not I'm not who I am. And I was talking to Body about this. I was talking to Big Body about this the day after the meet. Um, it's like, am I Russ because I do what Joey asks of me, or am I Russ because I'm just strong, right? And it's like you really have to dissect yourself as an athlete. And it's like, bro, you're great because you do the things necessary to be great, not because of who you are. Like you didn't do the things necessary to be great. So no, you don't deserve this crazy total that you're aiming for. You didn't listen to your coach. Like your coach didn't tell you to go off script the amount of times you went off script like that. Like that's not what he programmed for you. So I think like you have to sit back as an athlete, understand like I didn't do this well. This is not what my coach asked of me, and I need to be better at this. So I have no problem admitting that to myself. Like that's where the humble aspect comes in. I know I'm a great athlete, but at the same time, too, like I have to be a better client. Like I was not a good client this time around. I'm strong, but I didn't listen to what my coach asked of me.
Reflectively speaking, is this at all similar to the 2018 um, Brett Gibbs battle you lost, bounce back 2019? Is this reflective similar to 2024 battle loss to Jones, come back and beat Jones in the rematch? Is this similar to those at all, or is this entirely different? Is this like, no, you know what? I don't feel the same.
Nah, this one's entirely different for me
Mm,
personally. Those other ones, like 2018, I mean, he was just better. Like he was better, and I was coming off of an injury. Like we weren't. It just he was just better. Like there's no, he was just better. Like there's you get back in the lab and you just stay true to your process and get stronger and do a rematch. 2024, those were more variable driven. I'm not saying Jaren's didn't have a great day, but that was more so variable driven as to like the not being able to like compete at the highest of levels. Um, this one, it's like, bro, you beat yourself. Like, I feel like I beat myself. I'm not walking away. Yeah, this one's like more so like we need to sharpen our process because if someone's gonna beat you, it needs to like if someone were to beat me, it should be like I totaled 960 and they totaled 965. Yeah, shake your hand, walk away. This one, it's like, dog, you didn't even hit 900. Like, you got to look within and figure out like what are you doing wrong.
And then let's talk about the Joey Flexx story post. I had asked you about it leading into this.
This is news to me.
Right, right. So you've seen it, didn't think much of it. I actually don't have it in front of me. It goes away in 24 hours. I didn't screenshot because I didn't think this would be as bit like a storyline.
When you
But some
brought it up to
people,
me, yeah, when we talked about it very briefly, I understood. I now know the story you're referencing.
but like, I wish I don't like bringing someone up and not having it in front of me to be able to say what it is and be like,
Mhm.
well, it was to the like paraphrase. And some people listening will be frustrated, like how you you don't have it to quote. Thing is, they delete in 24 hours, and I swear to God, I didn't think it was going to be a story like it was, so I didn't take any screenshots or anything. But after the fact, I've had quite a few people that were like offended on your behalf, saying from what they read they didn't think that he should have said what he said, um, and didn't like the light in which it painted you.
Mhm.
Whereas I know Joey, and I know how Joey feels about you as a person, as an athlete.
Yeah.
I know that like he's not trying to throw you under the bus. Where
Mhm.
some people might be like, is he trying to throw like if it read wrong? It read as though he's questioning Russ's heart or character or throwing him under the bus. And I know Joey thinks that you're like he thinks the world of you. So
Yeah.
I honestly think like sometimes it might be just how it's read.
Mhm.
And apologies for anyone who's like, well, what the fuck did he say? It wasn't anything crazy. I know I don't have it in front of me, but it was more you have to read between the lines. Some people read between the lines and went a total different route. It let me do say I can say for sure he did refer to you as a legend in it. He literally, I know for fact, I do remember saying that. So if it was written and not fully flushed out, and this is where like the actual long format, if it's a podcast like this, which by the way, when I reached out to you, I was like, we need to clear a bunch of shit up, roll it all out, and you know the questions I asked and follow up questions, and then let me give you the scenario. This is the last game. Do you go out? It's because God bless, we have these long format areas where we could flush everything out and everyone walks away. Okay, satisfied. That's why these podcasts are key. But when you do a story post, you're not fleshing out your thoughts. It's just a blip within 24 hours, bounce, and then everyone reads between the lines. If this was a podcast, Joey said something, I'd ask a follow up, then another follow up. We land where we're going to land, and people know. So, anyways, did you see anything? What was your take on anything that you
Yeah,
might
so
have seen?
I think the story post that people are referencing is where Joey said, "I've never had an athlete tell me that they didn't have like anything left, like or they were
Mm.
cooked coming into deadlifts." That I'm pretty sure that's the one that we're talking about, right?
It
Something,
was that. It was
yeah.
around there. Yeah.
Yeah, so like number one, I think knowing the person, so it, like take coaching out of everything or whatever, knowing the person helps a lot because I saw the same thing and I didn't take it any certain type of way. I looked at it as him offering an explanation to his athletes, to his coaches, and to the people that follow him as to what happened with deadlifts. Because when we were at the meet and greet, people were even asking me, like, "Are you okay? Did anything happen?" And I feel like he was just offering an explanation to something that we talked about. Like he's like, in all my years of coaching, I've literally just have never had someone tell me that they didn't have anything left when it came to deadlift. And I'm like, yeah, like
That's right.
I didn't have anything. I mean, we communicate. Like he's not questioning my heart. He isn't questioning my
That's
character.
right.
Like that. I literally just told him, hey dog, I ain't got shit for deads. Do with it with what like I'm giving him like the play. It's like I don't have anything. What are we gonna do with this, right? So he's explaining to me too, like I've never had a lifter say that they don't have anything. I don't know where to draw from this or whatever. He's like, this is my first time experiencing this. And I'm like, this is my first time experiencing this too. Like,
Hmm.
I've never come to you and said that I ain't got shit for deads. Like, so we're literally actively figuring it out. And I think that people people may look at it and it's like, oh, like Mike, if my coach said that about me, I would be fucking offended, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, you and your coach don't live your fucking powerlifting career out in the open for everyone to see. I didn't take it personal because we said that shit. I told him that. I said, hey, I don't have anything for deadlifts. Now, if he started saying some shit like, man, Russ fucked this up, and like this, that wasn't me, that's Russ's fault, X, Y, and Z, like this mother X, Y, and Z, that's a whole different conversation. But he's literally just offering an explanation in a very raw form on his IG story and saying, Russ is a legend. This is his first time ever telling me that he doesn't have anything left for deadlift. So like that's why we didn't come out for our third. This is why X, Y, and Z, that's blah blah blah. Right? That's just a pure explanation as to what happened for deadlift. Like I think people took it a certain type of way, which I understand. Like if you're watching something from a perspective and like you don't understand a relationship and you don't understand what we've been doing for almost a decade in the sport now, in regards to living our powerlifting career out in the open for everyone to see. We talk about everything. We don't really share, we don't really hide too much. Like there's not I if you go on my YouTube channel, I'm very honest and upfront about our conversations that we have and all that kind of stuff. And maybe for some people, they're just like, we don't have those conversations publicly. Another way to look at this too, even if you want to say that it's distasteful what he did as a coach, in sports, there are certain type of coaches that publicly hold their athletes accountable, right? Like
Hmm.
if you look at Ty Lue, whenever he was coaching LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, he'll he'll say shit like, "We gave up today. Our best players need to be better. Like our best players didn't show up today. They need to do better. They need to work harder. They need to hold guys accountable." Is that fucked up? I don't know, but you're gonna get the best out of your athletes. Your athletes are gonna be like, "Man, what the fuck is coach talking about? Telling the media that we're not trying. I'm gonna go harder next game." Maybe it's a source of motivation for them. My team, our coaching Greg Popovich, he used to fucking call Tim Duncan out publicly all the time. Like that, like that's a normal thing. That once again, but that was not what Joey was doing. Joey's not even
Hmm.
that type of person to do some shit like that. Like that's what I'm saying. So we know him, but like other people don't know him. They just know him as Joey Flexx, the coach. I know him as Joey. So like I know when he posted that, it wasn't a personal dig at me. It wasn't him being like, yeah, Russ quit and X, Y, and Z. That's on him. I've never had a lifter tell me that. That's not the energy in which he was saying it. It was more so, yo, we don't know what was going on. Like this meet was crazy. I've never had a lifter be this cooked. I've never had a lifter tell me X, Y, and Z. I don't know what's happened. We're gonna figure it out, but this is what we experienced at the meet. So once again, and I'm not saying all this for people to be like, oh, okay, like, we know what Joey is saying. I'm just saying from our perspective, this is what's happening. Y'all are gonna watch this from a certain type of perspective and have y'all's opinions and think that he's trying to throw me under the bus, X, Y, and Z. That's cool too, but that's why I wasn't tripping too much. I didn't even know this was a conversation that was being had, that was like an issue or anything like that.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, I'm sure there are other points with other people that I've read a story, took it the wrong way myself as well. So I don't like hold people to task if they read that story and got it wrong,
I'm not, yeah.
because we all do it. We all
Yeah,
like,
it's like we all live in our own reality. So like anything that if I don't like somebody, anything that they post, I'm be like, man, is he on that bullshit, bro? See, he might just be
exactly.
saying like he had a great day. I'm like, bullshit, you a piece of shit. You didn't have a great, like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it's like
fair.
I don't blame people, bro. Like if you didn't fuck with what Joey posted, I get it. But like we have a certain type of relationship where that didn't bother me whatsoever. Like I didn't even think
It,
twice.
I don't, and even if you're neutral, we all do to an extent, even neutral. You see something and you take it in one direction. And if, again, the problem with certain mediums, if it was a conversation, you'd find out you'd flesh it out real quick. And you'd
Mm.
have follow-up questions and be like, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, and it'd be exactly what you're describing. I hadn't experienced this before, blah, blah, blah. Because people would be like, if it's a conversation, you'd be like, hold on, are you saying my man quit on you? And you're like, fuck, man, that, and he'd be like, no, that's not my point. What I'm saying is blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So this happens. So I get it, even if you're neutral and you read that. And then you might even be asking yourself, why did Russ not come out? Why did this? Why did that? Then you read that under that context, pretense, and you put the two together. Then you're like, man, what the shit? This is fucked up. However, as time goes, you come on the podcast and give clarity. Here's what we had to do in terms of discussion on that final dead. Here's the options we're facing in terms of my future as an athlete. Are we going to get to worlds, whatever? Here's what we did. Okay, that makes sense. Then put into then it helps categorize Joey's post being like, no, because we knew okay, if we're going to turn this around, you're not coming out for your dead. Let's see what we got, blah, blah, blah. So that's why this is important to have these conversations. And another thing I want to say, when I reached out to you and I was like, we got to flush all this out because I know you're not as in tune with the powerlifting community on who's saying what. It's probably to your benefit. It helps. It probably helps. I know you watch other sports, but a lot of these questions you might not even be realizing or being asked or posed or whatever. As king of lifts, people just powerlifting nerds are in my DMs talking about a million powerlifting topics like you would be other sports. So I'm like, Russ, let's answer all these questions. And I'm intrigued. And to your benefit as well, you told me straight up, my man, I trust where you're coming from in yourself, and thank you. And you said, don't pull punches or throw softballs.
Yeah.
If you want to directly ask me, if this is the narrative, and you want to directly ask me some pointed questions, did you quit? Did you whatever? Ask me, and I'll tell you what happened.
Mm.
And we'll get there. If you want, and I even asked you about the Joey Flexx story post. I'm like, do I bring this up or not? What do we do here? And you're like, just ask me. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'm not walking away from nothing. And
Yeah.
and you were like, you don't have to be soft on it either. Like I
Yeah. Like
trust you're coming from a
I look at it.
yeah.
Yeah. I look at it. It's like whenever like people sit down, because I love interviews. I love watching interviews and podcasts. And whenever a guest comes on, from the perspective of like you don't get to talk to this person, and it's like I want you to ask him the hard questions. I've heard certain narratives been flown around, and I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about this publicly, but like if someone asked me, I could answer it. Whenever I meet people in person too, like I'm very honest and forthcoming about like certain situations, and I'll talk to them about it. But I look at it, it's like I'm not running. The truth is the truth. We all have our truths, right? I'm just gonna answer things how I see it from my perspective. So, like I said, I know you're not asking me questions like trying to get me fucked up or anything like that. You're
Mhm,
like, man, this is what they saying about you, bro. What's up? Ah, nah, this
mhm.
is this is where I'm looking at it. This is how I'm feeling about it. I can understand why they'd ask that question, but I mean, this is where I'm at with it. So I never look at it. It's like you're just trying to look for a gotcha moment or anything like that. So you were
Mhm.
trying to. So for people that are listening, like Ryan was like asking me, "Yo, we need to talk about this." Da, da. He's trying to like smooth it over. I'm like, no, if you want to ask me, hey man, Russ, did you quit? Hey man, Russ, da da X Y Z. Da da
It's just
da.
such a hard
Ask me. It's cool.
here's the thing, because I've known you for years
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not an I gotcha guy.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not an I gotcha guy. However, I'm like, fuck, I gotta ask my man if he
Yeah, you
quit.
gotta ask. You
Which is
gotta
the
ask.
biggest sin. It's the biggest sin in sports. I gotta ask you if you quit. And you're
Yeah.
Russ. And I gotta ask you that. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta tell I literally felt like I gotta let him know I'm gonna ask. And
I
you know what I
respect it.
mean?
I said I really appreciate. I said I really appreciate you like going out of your way to preface that and say like, hey man, like these are the questions I'm gonna ask you. I'm like, hey man, I get it. Like I put myself in this scenario too, so I look at me as culpable, and it's like, hey, have accountability. So I'm not. That's not like something that I'm trying to run from or anything like that.
Dog is refreshing. Because not like the fact that not everyone walks around like you do at the athlete mind in terms of this. Like we see powerlifting, and some people are not yet at the pro level of thinking of um, questions will come like this, and this is what it is. This is sports. This is or if you have a game like that, you have to show up and answer to those questions. Some
Yeah.
people, it's not. But anyway, so it's refreshing, anyways. And I'm telling you, I feel a million times better after hearing the backstory,
Yeah.
after hearing all the options, what is that expression? Don't judge me on the decisions I made unless you knew the options I had to make those.
Mm.
And that's almost always the case. So it's like, hey, you might have judgment. Hear out what I have, the options and decisions, why I made that decision, what I'm facing, why I had to do what I have to do, the best possibly turn this around. All right, we think we put Sheffield in proper placement. Let me ask you real quick your impressions of, is Emil now? Emil is the reigning world champ, the reigning world record holder, won the battle of the 93s. Is he the number one 93 in the world, or can you make a case for another 93 being the number one currently?
Nah, he's number one right now. And I feel like when it comes to like you can have your theories, you can have your thoughts or whatever. What's on paper? Look it up. If his name is number one, I don't give a fuck about narratives. I don't give a fuck about who's projected or whatever. Until IPF Worlds rolls around, he is the number one 93 kg in the world. It was like that when I competed at NAPF, and I even didn't even feel too comfortable calling myself the number 193 because I hadn't faced anybody head to head. I didn't have like an actual world title, but at the time I did have the world record for the total.
Mm.
So I'll always give whoever has that name the respect. Whenever Jones beat me, I was like, nah, you're the number one dog right now. Like, I don't care if people project me as the number 183. Like, you're still, I mean, you actually beat me head to head. Like, you're the number one guy. So nah, he's number one. So he's one that everyone should be gunning for.
It's because he's such a humble dude.
Mhm.
Coming out of Bulgaria. Remember that freaking podcast when I asked you guys who's number 193, and you're like, I am. And then
American response.
Gustav gave the same response, but the European version, where he's like, um, whatever. I forget exactly what it was, but and then Emil gave the
Whoever puts
most
up the
European.
biggest total will be number one. I'm like, well, damn, bro. Like, make you
Emil
look like
is
a
like
piece of shit over
so
here.
humble. I know he's such a nice guy. Where it's like, God, it's hard not to root for him. God bless, but I'm glad he's, getting his kudos and everything because he is a reigning world champ. And coming into this, I wouldn't say he flew under the radar, but he isn't as flashy due to you're not going to get those sound bites.
Yeah.
Because
He didn't fly.
he's
He
just,
didn't fly under our radar, to be honest. We had him at 949, like 940, 950, like best case scenario for himself. So like we knew, like even if we brought our best, we thought it was going to be like a battle. So that's where we had him at. Like I don't. That's why I said like when we had the podcast prior to the showdown, I was like, it might be closer than people think. Like he's
oh
capable.
yeah.
Yeah. So we were giving him high praise.
What do you think in terms of this era? The 93s, Emil, Gustav, Kaiko have clashed a bunch of times since 2021. Those three, Emil was a bronze medalist there. They've all clashed a kabillion times at this point.
Yeah.
Who do you think at this point is, if I'm going to relate to it, and you could probably relate to it in different sports, but I'm a boxing guy. In the golden era of heavyweight division boxing, you had Foreman, Ali, Frazier, and Ali was the guy. But they were
Mhm.
all greats. They were all greats. They all had wins over each other. Um, but Ali definitely was the guy who stood out from those. If you're looking at these 93s, they've all won world titles, they've all won major showdowns. Gustav even won Sheffield, for God's sake. Like these guys and what they've done. Who between Keiko, Gustav, and Emil, and you could throw anyone else in there that you think should be mentioned, although I think it's just those three. Those are the big three of our 93 kilo era right now. Who is the alley?
It'd be Keiko right now. I feel like I'm pretty sure he has two IPF World wins, right? I believe
Yes.
in the 93s.
He
And then
got, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. He
yeah, and
does.
then on the US side, he's been really successful. And like it's a bloodbath coming out the US just by itself. So I feel like he's tested every single battle he's had is difficult. It's not like he just like pulls up and wins. But he's the most consistent. He took that year off, but I feel like he's still kind of like the gold standard. Like I feel like if you wanted to become or you wanted to be considered a 93 go or the go of the 93s, you would have to outdo what he's done in his career as a 93. So that's my personal opinion so far. I'm not sure if Emil or Gustav have two IPF 4 wins. I think they have one between the two.
That's right.
So yeah,
That's
I think Keiko is still the guy. So you would have to take down his legacy in order to supplant yourself as like the Ali.
and winning those U.S. Nationals, like it is so crazy stacked at U.S. Nationals,
It's
and
tough.
he did 919. I
Mhm.
know we're all like
I steer.
Emil, yeah, Emil just did 920. Obviously, Will Ball 920. My man did 919 against a crazy stacked class at U.S.
Last
Nationals. Yeah,
last year.
so
It wasn't like he did that. He did that at Nationals at the beginning of the year. So that's why it's a little bit different. That's why I still have him in this high regard because it's like I know Will Ball's new and he's very capable. Don't get me wrong, but like so is Keiko and he's like very consistent. He's been in battles, so that's why I still
mm,
have him.
were you? Did you even know? I don't actually that Will Ball actually flew to Sheffield just to watch, which
Yeah,
is such a 20-year-old thing to do. This guy
that's
talk about
funny to think
who
of.
does international travel in the middle of U.S. Nats prep,
Yeah.
international travel just to watch the battle live when there's a stream. Is that shocking to hear for you?
It was shocking, but at the same time, I know what it's like to be that young, you know? So,
Right.
you know what, if you have an opportunity to come watch something like that, why wouldn't you go see it? It's like, you want to personally see these people that you're gunning for. So I understand the youthfulness of that. I knew a couple of weeks prior that he would be making that he would physically be there. We actually got to talk the day after.
Oh shit.
I actually yeah, he was I think he was going to go train or he was either leaving to go back to America, but we were talking downstairs in the lobby area for some time.
And what was that like to actually see him in person?
So yeah,
Um,
I've seen him. We ran into each other at SBD Awesome because he was there too. I had just finished training and he was coming in to train. I actually didn't really get a real chance to have an in-depth conversation with him at uh SBD Austin. It's funny because I feel like with his youth and like maybe people he's surrounded by, or just the conversation, I become enemy number one. And
mhm.
he's never really had like a conversation with me. So I I know what it's like, man. You're looking at someone, it's man, fuck that guy. You know, and like your whole team around you is like, yeah, fuck that guy. So you have this animosity towards each other. But then when I sat down and actually talked to him at Sheffield, I'm like, this is a really intelligent young man. Like he's really thoughtful, really smart. He's like he sounds like he's ahead of his years. It was just one conversation we were able to have, but I'm like, nah, man, like this is a really intelligent guy. So we were just talking about he was talking about my performance. Um, he said that he doesn't have like this like weird animosity towards me or like he wasn't like clapping whenever I failed or anything like that. He was just more so just like, all right, I mean it happened and now, now I go compete at nationals. Like it's pretty much the conversation we were having. So it was really refreshing.
I guarantee you, he probably would have preferred you had a good performance because
Yeah.
for him, it'd be
Yeah,
better.
that's what.
Like,
Yeah, he was. It was more so the conversation. It's like I don't want to see you go out like this. Like I want to see you do your best, and then my best is still better than your best. But he's like,
mm,
it's not like I was like rooting for you to have a terrible meet. And I was like, yeah,
mm.
like I understand that. And like I was like I know you're gonna kill it at nationals, so like go do your thing. Um, so yeah, it was a really good conversation.
It's intriguing. Obviously, you don't know yet if you're going to be at US Snaps. It depends on how you end up feeling. But in your mind's eye, what do we? It's intriguing that the old wily veteran, mid 30s Kaiko, whom in your estimation, in a lot of people's estimation, I haven't fully digested, but I think off the top of my head, he probably is the most established 93 as well. I think I agree with you, but it's getting close. It's getting contentious if Emil keeps going.
Yeah,
But
if he still wins
but
another title and all that, yeah.
right, but right now I'm comfortable saying Kaiko. But it is him, mid 30s, the wily veteran, won so many battles, facing off against the young upstart in Will Ball. As a fan, let's say like if you're there, you're not worried about any of that. You're worried on yourself. But if let's say let's take you out of it and say, all right, you don't end up going, you're watching. As a fan, how intrigued are you with that showdown? Those two head to head at US
I'm
Nats.
very intrigued. It's literally like youth versus like you said, wily vet. Youth is scary in powerlifting sometimes because those guys have like infinite gains, infinite recovery. Like just coming in. It's like no variables really matter to them. It's like, yeah, I can show up the day before and I'm fucking going, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like now in my older age, it's like, you got to be very intentional with shit, like recovery, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. Um, are you asking me who I think is going to win or like what just the
You could
battle?
give that. You could give that. I was just being general at first, but yeah, who do you think?
And it's
Who
going
would
to
you
be
favor?
Shaq. I think in powerlifting, man, I would say, damn, it's tough because you're looking at it like Kaiko is very like a 9 for 9 guy, and like he's gonna hit his lifts. Whereas like now Will Ball, it's like there's not a lot of information,
Mhm.
and what we do know is that he pulls more. He pulls more,
That's
and
true.
that's always a problem in powerlifting because you always get to have the last laugh. So it's one of those things where I wouldn't be surprised either way. Like legit. Like I'm not saying this because Kaiko's my teammate, but um you never know. You never fucking know. And Kaiko's not the one to miss lifts. So that's why it's like, he's going to show up and be him. That's for sure. Like he's going to show up and be him. And he's going to go 8 for 9. And you're going to see, or he's going to go 8 for 8. And then you're going to see what he's going to have to do for 9 for 9. And he's shown many times that he could get it done. So Will's a wild card. So it's like, shit. He's a wild card, but he's also like the favorite in a sense because his ceiling is higher than Keiko's for sure. Like there's no escaping that. But in powerlifting, you still have to make your live. So we'll see. It's
And
literally
now,
like I wouldn't be surprised if Will wins. And if Keiko wins, I would have been like, I could see that too. So
in in powerlifting, you assume the strongest guy wins. However, the strongest guy has the advantage, but the strongest guy doesn't always win.
no,
Ironically enough,
happens all the
it
time.
happens all the time, and that's where Will, 20 years old, it depends. Now, I don't know who's going to be handling him in prep. There's a lot of things that can. This could be a learning lesson where it's too much too soon, but the guy's still going to be a star moving forward. Or
Or yeah, a lot of shit could go wrong, or it's going to be the beginning of a new legacy. Like you never know, right? So
one last question, then. Thank you, by the way. This has been a freaking phenomenal podcast. But your old division, the 83s, Joey B now has to go to U.S. Nationals. Now, Joe trains high, anyways, in terms of intensity levels. So, him turning it around, I don't think is going to be a major deal because he does peak quite often in the gym. However, it's not going to be. Look, he had a rough go, and he did compete. He did have international travel,
Mhm.
and there was a spread, but you do have Taylor Atwood waiting for you.
Mhm.
The cue the meme of the guy looking around the tree rubbing his hands.
Yeah.
And if Taylor, let's say, like Joe B did 890 to win worlds. Let's say he's now humanized due to international travel, maxing out, getting roughed up the whole nine, and he's 890 range.
Mhm.
Taylor could be 890 range. Yes,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have your teammate under Joey Flexx, Jaden Lowe. And
Mhm.
Jaden was on here, and Powerlifting America just took, and this is perfect timing, and they did a great job in terms of this. Him saying, look it, if Joe B is around 900 kilos, I'm pulling last, and you miss a lift, it's mine. The table is set. Joe B did 9 and he did 904. We haven't seen Joe B do more than 904.
Mhm.
And he's coming off of our very rough performance, international travel, the whole nine. If Joe was around 900 kilos, Jaden might be jogging right beside him.
Mhm.
How dangerous is this for Joe B right now, turning it around with your teammate, Jaden Lowe, an all time great Taylor Atwood showing up, as well as all the other 83s, not to look past any of those guys?
Yeah, he fucked up the same way I fucked up. Like this is not the time to fuck up. Like it's not the time to fuck up for our situation. Our national our IPF dreams pretty much rest on Sheffield, our performance at Sheffield, right? So yeah, he's in a very interesting situation, just like myself. Like I think he's in a better scenario because he's a lot younger and like he's used to peaking back to back to back to back to back. So he might have a better package than maybe myself when it comes to facing those guys, but he's not gonna I don't think he's gonna be at 900. And I think he knows that too.
Oh, that's
It
not
just
good.
yeah,
It's
but I
not
mean
good if he's not.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. Everyone else is going to be around 890 ish. Because obviously, him at his best, yes, like he's a clear cut favorite, right? But he's not going to be at his best. And I don't. 900 is a tough task. Like it's a tough task. So yeah, I don't know. It's literally just gonna be a toss up. Like Jaden has a very good opportunity. Taylor has a very good opportunity. And I said if Joe totals like 900 plus, that would be a very crazy performance. Like that would be a really, really crazy performance. But man, I mean, the only thing he has on his side is youth. Youth and experience of like turning shit around, but he did fuck up. He fucked up the same way I fucked up. He fucked up the
It
same way I fucked up, excuse me. So
it is going to be riveting. It is
yeah,
going to be riveting. You
it'll be a
know,
tough battle.
Jaden Taylor, all the 83 is now leaning in like, oh, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're
Like
not
if he
100%.
did like a 915, obviously you're comfortable with that. You're like, all right, that's cool. Like 915, I'm chilling. 910, I'm chilling. But now, like if you're only bringing like an 890, 895-ish package, you're susceptible for sure.
I think if you bring 900, Jaden said, I got 900 in me. I think I'll have 900 in me by the time Nats rolls around. If he's got more 900 on the day, God bless, he's going to win.
Mm.
If
If
he's
he has
900,
900 a day, that's his dub. If he told us, yeah, that's his dub. If he has 900
can
on the day,
you
that's his.
imagine? Can
I'm
you
not saying he
imagine?
doesn't. Yeah, I think his ceiling is extreme. I think Jaden's ceiling is extremely high because he's just now getting started,
Mm.
and Joe's been kind of doing this for a minute. I'm not saying Joe doesn't have the ability to get to like 920 or anything like that, but he does have someone in the weight class now, along with Taylor. I thought Taylor was very close to winning last year. Like I wasn't saying it out loud, but I was like, yo, I think Taylor's like around 890 too. Like people aren't talking about him because it's not like a sexy conversation, but I thought at the time Taylor was like 890. And he's pissed off because I remember at NAPF, not happy with how he performed there.
Hmm.
Like he did not have the meet he wanted to at NAPF, and he's been training ever since. So like he's supercharged right now. Like
Dog, let me throw
outside
this
of
at you. Let me throw this idea at you. Can you imagine Taylor Atwood, 2026 Worlds, he returns? Can you fucking imagine what people, how nuts people go? Taylor Atwood returns to IPF World Championship. Can you imagine this? And let's just have fun here. Can you imagine Taylor fucking Atwood wins Worlds 2026 due to Joe B comes in compromise. He beats Joe B, goes to Worlds, and he's around 890. And that's enough as well.
Mhm.
Can you imagine Taylor Atwood and what happens if Taylor Atwood comes back and wins?
I can
That
see, but that's a very feasible situation though. Like
it is. It's
yeah,
feasible.
now that like I said, Joe knows he fucked up. You haven't seen him talk much on social media because he knows he fucked up. Same thing with me too. Like I know I fucked up, and it's a real case scenario where that could be a reality. It's like, hey, you fucked up at Sheffield. You only brought like an 890 package. Taylor edged that out, and now he's a world champion. Same thing with Jaden too. It's like, hey man, I said if you fuck up, I'm gonna be right there. You fucked up, I was right there, and I edged you out. So that's the type of shit that happens. It's hard to build a legacy, man. Shit
No.
happens in sports. Like it's not like this guy's projected the best all the time and he wins all the time. It's like, nah, shit happens. Like shit be
Mm-hmm.
happening. My legacy was built off of shit happening. Like Brett didn't hit his best total. I PR'd my total like crazy and came from behind and won. And then Taylor shit. Carl knocked off Taylor at Sheffy that
Mm-hmm.
shit, Jerns turned around and knocked me off. Like, and he knocked off Joe B too. Like shit happens, bro. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, man. It's crazy.
So one last question. We were having this discussion on one of the podcasts. I think it was a recap show, and I said U.S. Nationals for Joe B is going to be a tougher challenge than Worlds because he's got Taylor and Jaden waiting for him. And Jurens threw this in his story, be like, "Oh, I got you. I'm a little 83 all over again." He did give kudos, saying, "Hey, great, like it's Jurens. That's my guy." But and he should. When an athlete hears us, they should be insulted. Be like, "Excuse me, that's the attitude you should have." I love it. But do you think, in your estimation, is the tougher challenge for Joe B going to be U.S. nationals, and then if he gets by U.S. nationals, worlds will be not easy work, but easier work. What do you think?
Nah, he like I said, like we both fucked up. There is no everything is tough. I don't know if like there's like a easier. I would say because it's different, right? It's like almost like a fighter, right? Because powerlifters present different problems. Look at a Will Ball. His potential is incredible, right? But its potential maybe it hasn't been realized yet. So you have someone like a Keiko, it's difficult to beat him because he may not be the strongest, but he's gonna give you that total that you have that he has projected for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Joey, with Joe B, you're looking at it like this. Nationals is a problem because he's not at his best. The issue here is that you have motherfuckers in the weight class that now that you're not your best, they're literally at the same strength as you right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is no 915, 920 right now, bro. Like y'all are equal strength. Now you're gonna have to figure out who's gonna make smarter decisions and put together a total that's gonna win that battle. The issue with Worlds is that he's strong. Like even like no disrespect to Jurens and I believe Ade, right? He's gonna have to compete against Ade.
I think they're going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, a fucked up Joe B is still stronger than them. But once again, Jurens is very chill. Jurens is like his potential isn't more than most 83s, but he's gonna hit that 870-ish range consistently. Don't fuck up. Like, do
Yeah. Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas like with nationals, no, those guys are literally at your same level right now. And I mean, you can't fuck up again, but at the same time, like, bro, you might be the one that has to just focus on execution and then seeing if they're gonna fuck up. Whereas like it's kind of the reverse the other way around. Like those guys are waiting for you to fuck up to beat you. So I would say I would actually say IPF World is gonna be harder because it's gonna be a quick turnaround time again.
That's true.
Like national, like you like it's almost like you're going into battle and it's like, okay, I won this battle, fuck, but now I have to do the exact same thing again for worlds. And like it's not like people are just rolling over. You have Jurns that's beating you, and he's been chilling since Sheffield. Like
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't had a
Mm-hmm.
battle again, so he's chilling, waiting. I haven't seen Ade post in a minute. We don't know what that motherfucker is doing. Like we don't know if he's been just saving strength this whole time, and it's a lot different when you have to compete against people that haven't competed in a long time. Like they're just you just been saving all this money. You've been saving all this strength money, just waiting to use it. And now, boom, it's your opportunity. So you don't know. Ade might bring a package where it's like looking like it's like an 890 to 900 total. And it's like, if that's the case, I don't know if anyone's totally 900 come IPF World Times because the turnaround time is so crazy.
Good point. Ade was at Sheffield as well. He looks confident,
Mhm.
and if he's also super duper young, he could pull it all together. And if he nails that last deadlift that he's come pretty close to before, you're right. If he's 890 to 900 range, and if Joe B doesn't get 900 range internationally, and Dubai is even further, by the way.
Yeah.
Dubai is further and further, and UK is closer to Dubai than the Americans will, and it only gets tougher and tougher. And if the pattern of Joe B's total is that he can't go over 900 kilos if he goes international, and he hasn't yet. He's had 2 attempts and he hasn't yet.
Mhm.
If he can't figure out international over 900 kilos, that's where a guy and Ade does. That's where things are going to happen. And I did see um, Taylor actually mentioned in his stories about how look at I'm traveling like 10 hours for this domestic US nationals. It's the
Mhm.
same travel as international. It's the same. But like yes, Taylor, you're 100% right. If you're traveling 10 hours, it's like 8 hours or less for me to get to Europe. The difference though that you do have to keep in new is the time zone change. You have a circadian rhythm and it's not just the travel time. Oh, I did a car ride is 8 hours. Same thing if you do a flight, travel time. No, the circadian rhythm, you can't get around it. If your body thinks it's 12 p.m., but it's actually 12 a.m., you can't just talk. Not everyone, anyways, can just tell your body to fall asleep. And
Yeah.
you will start losing night sleep over and over. And it could take 3 nights in a row before your body starts getting back onto track.
It took
And
me,
then let
yeah,
me see how
took
strong.
me, took me a solid minute to get adjusted in the UK time. Like I was, it would be like midday, and I'm dead tired. Like I'm talking about sleeping, like blinds closed, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I saw that story. It was interesting because definitely US competition is definitely different from
It
international.
is though, dog. Like
Yeah,
I
I
love
fuck
Taylor.
with Taylor. I get what he was saying travel wise, but man, the judging is different for sure. Like,
Joe B also ironically reposted that. But my man,
nah, them
you've gone
pauses.
900, 904 domestically, and internationally, you've never done nine. And it's two domestically, two internationally. And I know Joe B listens to the podcast. God bless. I'm a huge Joe B guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying in the future he can't, and I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying it is definitely tougher.
Look,
In
I
circadian rhythms are real. It's not just a fucking fire Drake song.
yeah,
Freaking
how
it's listen, you when you
the fuck I'm
think
still
you're
up? Literally, like
yeah, dog, dog.
how the fuck am I still up? Because like it's
Yeah. When your body thinks it's 12 p.m. and it's really 12 a.m. and you can't fall asleep, you're fucked. And
yeah,
and do that a few nights in a row. You could take melatonin and whatnot. Sometimes some people's bodies just adjust quicker. Some people's don't. But the proof is in the pudding, my friend. So if you hit 900 kilos a year ago, you should be at 915 already. And then if you should be bringing that internationally, you have
but
the proof is in the pudding. And
this is
Dubai is
what
going to be worse, not better.
this
It's
is what
going
I
to be
try to tell
harsher.
people. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people when it came to international competition. I'm like, bro, you got like you're gonna. It's not like a crazy nerf, but you're gonna experience some type of nerf. Like you're not going to be able to just go fully out. I'm not saying you can't have a great competition, but for example, the the 900 the 900 it did on US soil. Not saying it was possible because it was on US soil, but that shit is hard to do overseas when you have all these crazy different variables. And I think he understands that now. Like, not saying that you can't do 900, but it's like if he did 900 in the UK or overseas, that means he probably could have did like 915 in the
Well, that's
US.
what I'm saying.
All
That's
that,
what I'm
that's all
saying.
that it means. Yeah.
A year later, I would expect you to do 900 again. This
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. Where hey, if you did 900 a year ago, you should be at 915 now. And I think he is. Look, I think the world of Taylor and Joby, no question. I'm just saying, and this isn't a them thing. This is a in general everybody thing. Pretending circadian rhythms don't exist and time zones don't exist doesn't make sense. And pointing out travel for sure. US travel, there is some mass, and there is a time zone, but it's 3 hours, right? Like
Yeah,
your
it's not that
circadian,
bad.
no, my body thinks it's 3 p.m., but it's 6 p.m. Okay, that's not going to fuck you up
Also,
like
yeah,
30.
I talked to the Europeans about this too, because there's this conversation like Europeans don't take you seriously at nationals. Like they'll look at our nationals lifters and
I know.
give a
Yeah.
fuck
Ask
about.
Germans about it.
Yeah,
Germans
yeah,
is like, don't tell me 900. I'll see your 890 and let me
yeah.
see if I can
Let's
beat
see.
890.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
this is a message to all the U.S. lifters. These
Ain't afraid.
European overseas people don't give a fuck about our nationals. They
No.
don't care. Like we're the only people that give a fuck about our nationals. The reason for that is because they know they don't compete here in the US. We always have to go travel to like these crazy ass locations, Sweden, not crazy ass locations, but super far away locations.
Right.
Sweden, South Africa, now
Dubai.
Dubai. Bro, that shit shaves your total. So they're like, we don't care. Oh, you totaled 800. Oh, you totaled 900 at nationals. We don't care about that. Oh, you totaled 600 at nationals as a group. We don't care about that. Bring your ass over here to the UK and let's see
Yeah,
what the
let's see
actual
it.
like with our strict ass like standards when it comes to lifting. Like their standards are a little bit more strict in the US. Like just being honest. Like it is what it is. But yeah, it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
It is. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, listen, thank you for hopping on, my man.
Yeah.
Phenomenal freaking discussion as per usual. Crush 2 hours easy as per usual. I think we answered all the questions. I think we touched up on some good.
There's this other sentiment. I saw people saying that I should change coaches or it's time for a coaching change or some shit like that. I don't
That's
know
a
if
little
that,
quick.
yeah, there's times, I feel like as an athlete, there's times when you have to look at everything, right? When I left, anytime I've had a bad performance and I left a meet, I've always been able to look at myself in the mirror and say, you are not a good client. You are not being a good representative of what your coach is asking you to do. Now, if there was a time where I left me and I did everything, I knew like in my heart and soul, yo, you did everything, you ate everything, you did everything program wise, and you had a fucking shit meet, then I would be side-eyeing my coach a little bit. It's like, I think it's time for a change. And I would give him some time to explain himself, maybe another meet. And if things weren't trending in the right direction, I'd be like, bro, I think it's time for us to part ways. That's where that conversation would come in. But I've had immense success back to back, 4 years with my coach, right? So for me to have a bad meet, I'm coming off of two pretty solid meets, by the way. I'm coming off of two
Mm,
solid meets. I stumble and I look in the mirror and I'm like, did you do everything your coach asked you to? No, you didn't. So who are you going to be mad at? You're going to be mad at your coach? All right, you switched coaches. You didn't fix anything because you know you didn't do everything you need to do. Now I'm hiring another coach. I might have the same result because I didn't look within and fix what was wrong with me. Like, there's no one that's going to make me listen more than Joey. Like, they're point blank, period. But if I'm looking at my coach and saying, I didn't do everything that you asked me to, that's me on the athlete to adjust that and correct that. And I only wanted to touch up on this because I feel like there's a lot of athletes that leave their coaches after bad performances. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, did you ask yourself if you're actually doing the right things and you're actually doing what your coach asked you to do? Um, and yeah, I've just seen so many different lifters just throw their coach under the bus, and it's like, don't get me wrong, there's times where it's warranted, but at the same time too, it's like, bro, you wasn't doing what your coach was asking you to. And I've seen like a lot of high level lifters do this, and then also novice level lifters do this, and the same problems keep presenting themselves because they're not actually
mm.
addressing the issue. They're just finding someone or something to be the scapegoat. And that's why it's important as a lifter, as an athlete, to be accountable and realize you're not as good as you think you are, bro. Like you think you're this legend X, Y, and Z. You're not preparing like a legend. So correct this mistake, and then now you'll be able to correctly evaluate your coach because, all right, I'm actually doing everything you're telling me to do, and I still suck. This is you. Like that's you. This ain't me, right? But I just wanted to address that because I've heard people. That's one of the things that I've been able to kind of like cross into my vision where people are like, I think it's time for a new coach, and it's like, yeah, yeah, no. I don't think there's an
Okay.
upgrade from this.
Well, okay. First off, agree with everything you said. If it was, yeah, you're having several meets in a row, you're not progressing,
Mhm.
and you ask yourself the questions though, am I doing everything the coach did or do I get out of pocket? Is a me thing. I haven't progressed in 5 competitions, but on the flip side, I keep doing things it might always be you, right? But if you honestly do everything your coach is saying, you stay in the pocket, you follow the program, you're not progressing, it's not a loyalty thing. People use the term loyalty. Your athletic career is this big.
Yeah.
If you aren't progressing, you be loyal to yourself first. It's not a personal thing. You only have a few years. Swap coaches, do your damn thing. So I don't find like loyalties for friends. You can still be his friend and everything, or her friend, whatever the case may be. But you have to be loyal to yourself first. Your athletic career is this big. If you're not progressing, make that decision. But in terms of you personally, yeah, your last 2 comps coming in this, you broke the world record total 83 and then world record total 93 back to back comps. And then you have one bad meet, and it's like, I think it's time we have this conversation. Really? Because last year I was the comeback kid. Last
Yeah,
year, everybody's
last,
talking about I was comeback of the year. I was
yeah.
literally comeback of the year. And then the following year, one performance. Is it time to have this conversation yet? Holy smokes. A week ago, you were the world record holder. A week ago, you were the reigning world record holder. A week later, see how a week changes everything? And
Yeah,
a week later, it's like, can we be frank here? You got to swap coaches.
we need to
Seems
start
a little
having these
quick.
tough conversations. Da, da, da. It's like, all right, I mean, shit, man.
Yeah. Let's chill. Especially if you're totally honest, like, look, I jumped out of pocket,
Yeah.
and things got a little offside, and
And
whatever it
also
is,
too,
what it
yeah, and
is.
also too, like I think we have a type of relationship to where like if I did feel like he was the issue, we would sit down and have a very long conversation because that's a serious thing. Like changing coach, to me, like you and your coach should be lock in step in what you're doing. And like I betrayed him in the sense of like I wasn't, listening to exactly what he had to say. But it's like it comes down to him having conversations with me having conversations with him. Like he's had times where he's had to pull me aside and be like, bro, like you are really out of pocket. Like you need to do X, Y, and Z. And then there are times where it's like, yo, man, I know you programmed this, but I don't like this. I feel like shit, X, Y, and Z. and we hold each other accountable. So like if it was a
Mm,
scenario where like a coaching change really needed to happen, I'm loyal to my progression. I'm loyal to him as a human being, but athlete wise, you have to pull away from that and then be loyal to the progression. So if I'm loyal to the progression, it allows me to look at things with a very sober mind. It's like, all right, man, your coach asked you to do this. Why did you do that? Oh,
mm,
because you're a jackass. All right, cool. Let's stop being a jackass. Let's listen to what coach got to say and really evaluate if your coach is really good. Because that's what I did at Sheffield. When I lost to Jones, I was like, okay, I'm a jackass. Let's see if my coach is a jackass too.
yeah,
Like,
are we both jackasses?
yeah, like, are we
Yeah,
both
yeah,
jackass? Are we both jackasses?
yeah.
Let me listen to everything my coach got to say. And then boom, I had a crazy meet. I'm like, damn, that's when I started. I'm like, damn, my coach really is the GOAT. Like, I know we've been together for a long time, but I can step aside and be like, yo, my coach is the GOAT because I have no business telling him what I just told him right now, like X, Y, and Z, giving them what I just did. All right, cool. So then when I fucked up again, I'm like, and I told Joey this too. I'm like, okay, anytime I'm in the gym and I'm thinking about doing something, I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong.
Mm,
Let me look at my program and really look at it. It's all right. Joey's right. Cool. I now know that anything that goes into my mind is wrong. Right? Joey's right. Cool. All right, bet. Let's move off of that. And if I listen to him, I'll be one of the greatest of all time. Boom. That's all I need to know. That's how we moving. So like people are like, oh, move away from your coach. I'm like, "Move away from my coach. Shit, I should listen to him more. Like, I don't know what
mm.
talking about new coach. So
Some people are just waiting to say it regardless. Also, um, even if like a tough conversation were to happen, Joey's like that guy as well. Like
mhm,
I brought this up before, but Michael Davis is now coached by John Song, still a member of Flex Training, and
mhm.
still has that relationship with Joey and is still tight because Joey himself is a sports guy and is like, look, I want to see you do good, whether it's with me, without me. Nothing will ever stop what we did. Let's say you and Joey did part ways today. Nothing rewrites history that you guys haven't done together, and you guys should still be friends and should still be you share this history, and it is what it is, and it's not a personal thing, and nothing will change that. And when you go to US Nats, Michael Davis and Joey will still be good to this day and whatever the shit. And that's the way it should be. It's a tough conversation. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a tough combo, but those are the type of relationships you want to see. But anyways, yeah, good on you. Jump in there if that's what you're hearing, and it's bound to happen. This is
I
a
think it was an important conversation for like all lifters to hear. And it's like, bro, if you're not progressing, first look at yourself, then look at your
yeah.
coach. I see it all the time. People drop coaches, and it's like that coach is probably dope. You probably just suck. You actually suck. Like you, and it's okay as an athlete to admit that. It's like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, this season I sucked. Like I fucked up this season. I'm not trash, but I sucked this season. What do I need to do to get better? Right. And if I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, like I did everything that my coach asked me. Maybe what you're telling me to do sucks. So like maybe I have to, evaluate you. But I personally felt like it wasn't him, it was me.
Fair enough. Listen, my man, thank you for coming on, dude.
Sure, man.
Um, phenomenal freaking podcast. Can't wait for people to hear it and drop their comments on it. And for everybody listening, as per usual, please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, six pack Lapadat, six up, and we are out.